Tough BCS pregame show on Fox.
I walk up to the line of scrimmage.
Shaking out the floor, man. Pre-snap read.
I look to see where this pro slide.
L triple.
I think back what coach talked about all week. Hear the linebackers yell out, storm,
Center, Mike Ryan, 33. Within every war, there are battles.
No battle.
Too small.
No inch. Not worth fighting for.
We are individual, but we fight together.
When it comes down to it, it's me.
It's me
against him.
I will sacrifice to win my battle.
I will dominate, my man. It's hunt or be hunted.
I will not be the hunter. Not in the division. Tonight, the battle is ours. Tonight, the battle is ours.
Street has turned into a sea of scarlet and gray and purple and gold as Buckeye fans and LSU Tigers fight for one of the hottest tickets in recent years. Can 1400-yard rusher Beanie Wells help Ohio State run roughshod against the best defensive player in the country? Defensive tackle Glenn Dorsey ready to shine in the final game of his collegiate career, but it's linebacker James Laurinaitis and the Buckeyes that have the nation's #1 D. Tonight, they'll try to stop the Tigers' two-headed quarterback Matt Flynn and Ryan Perilou. Just 80 miles from its Baton Rouge campus, #2 LSU faces #1 Ohio State in the All-State BCS National Championship. The Louisiana Superdome ready to crown a champion as we conclude the All-State BCS Bowl Bash right where it all started 6 nights ago. Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Orleans. I am Chris Rose. My tag team partner, Jimmy Johnson, still intact. And tonight, don't worry, we got 2 ball carriers to share the load, all right? Including one guy that knows both teams oh so well. He plays LSU every year in the SEC, and last year he dismantled the Ohio State Buckeyes for the national championship. 41-14 your final. Urban Meyer, I know you'd rather be playing tonight, but hopefully this is a nifty consolation prize.
I'll tell you what, a great experience for these student athletes. You forget how nice it is here, and you can talk all you want about the BCS. What a great experience for the players.
And, of course, joining you tonight is one of the greatest players in Ohio State history. In fact, his coach, John Cooper, called him the hardest-working player he has ever coached. He can still move. I know this video's old, but he can still move. Take my word for it. Eddie George, are you surprised you're back after last year? Emmitt Smith gave you all that stuff up on the set?
Yeah, he did. He had a good time with me, right? But I'm glad to be back. And this guy here, he gave us nightmares, gave me a nightmare, but it's always good to be back.
It's okay to show him the ring, by the way.
No.
Go ahead. Show him the
Go ahead.
Got to give one to Emmitt Smith as well.
Hey, Emmitt made him do the gator chop last year.
I never saw that. I got to see that on video.
No, you won't see it.
I don't know what you have to do if LSU pulls off the victory tonight. Now, guys, as for the game, now before the Christmas holiday, Ohio State head coach Jim Tressel got each of his players a brand new DVD. It was a horror flick. Media bashing of the Buckeyes dating back to last year's title game loss and continuing into this December. Now, pundits saying OSU simply didn't belong here. Guess what? They are for a second straight year. However, teams playing in consecutive BCS title games, just 1 in 3. The lone win was by Florida State, which is the only squad to play in 3 straight national championship games. Now, Eddie, they have heard about it. The blowout loss, that they're too slow, that they can't play in the SEC. They've never won a bowl game against that conference. Motivating factor tonight, how much?
Oh, tremendous. First of all, how could you? Did you feel good about that when you're a Buckeye? You got Woody Hayes in your office. You got the Buckeyes in your office. How could you do that? But no, last year after that loss to Florida, the first thing Ohio State did when they got back, they changed their security code going into their facility to 41-14 to the score of last year's game as a motivating factor. So it goes back to 365 a year ago from carrying all that emotion going into this game. So it'll be motivated tonight.
That's the psychological side of things. Physically, is there a speed disparity between the Big Ten and the SEC?
I think that's a myth. I think the upper-level Big Ten teams especially have just as much speed as the SEC. SEC top to bottom has more speed, not when you're talking about the top 2-3 teams in the Big Ten, though.
Hey, Urban's trying to get some more of that speed. I had to drag him to the set. He's sitting there on the telephone talking to these recruits, saying, come with me to the championship game next year. We're going to be here next year.
It's a dead period in recruiting right now. You know he's not.
He can make one phone call a week. He told me that.
I love it. You can make it at halftime. Right now we're a little busy, Coach. As for LSU, their fans are in dire need of a manicure. They have no more fingernails to chew on. 6 of the Tigers' last 8 games were decided by 7 or fewer points. 2 went into triple overtime. It has been one wild ride.
32-yard attempt. There's a snap. Now it's a fake and the flip over to David, and he is going to score. Holy cow! What a play! Throws it. That's going to be. It's complete. Tigers win. Tigers win. Glenn turns. Leaves it with Scott. No. Hit at the 16. He did not get it. Victory. Kentucky. Thrown towards Demetrius Byrd. And it's come to this. Glenn throws. Intercepted. It is over. Arkansas wins, and LSU's national championship aspirations are over.
I'm the head coach at LSU. I will be the head coach at LSU.
Here comes the Tiger rush. Here's the pass. It is intercepted. Cena. Touchdown.
LSU, incidentally, the first 2-loss team to play a BCS championship game. Now, how tough are they to defend against, Urban?
Well, they'll run a 2-quarterback system. Ohio State's strength is a front 7. And so they need to be very strong on the perimeter and almost invite LSU to run at Ohio State's strength, which is inside.
All right, one thing I hear about LSU, their head coach, he's crazy. He goes for it on 4th down. He runs trick plays. You know, how much of that really is?
I promise you, he is not crazy, and it's not risky when you're 12 for 15 on 4th down. You know, I think there's 2 factors. Number one, do you know something that's going to give you the confidence to be successful? Do you know something about that team, the way they line up, whether it's your strength or their weakness? And number 2, do you need to take the risk? Because if you're outmanned, if the other team is a superior team, you may need to take that risk. Against Joe Urban, they went for it on 4th down 5 times.
All right.
One thing from the players' perspective, they want you to go for it on 4th down. They want to have the trust of their coach.
And number 3, you got to find out how 19 and 20-year-olds deal with pressure. And for that, right now, let's check in on the field with Chris Myers.
Chris, I'd call it controlled energy so far in the pregame warm-ups. Les Miles was the first guy to arrive here at the stadium. He described the bus ride over, short bus ride for the Tigers, as low-key, and he wants it that way. He told his players, look, I know we're in Louisiana, but no stargazing here in the Dome. It's not a home game. It's a bowl championship game. Health, that's a good thing for LSU that they had the layoff. Both Glenn Dorsey and Matt Flynn had excellent weeks of practice. Their trainer gives them the green light. The medical staff says we got to watch game hits and see how they respond. Chris Wells for Ohio State, healthy as well. He's been given the green light. He said he expects to carry the load in this game. And just before Ohio State ran out onto the field, Jim Tressel was alone outside the locker room, almost like an actor going over his lines before the big stage. He's very different than Les Miles, who had his LSU team watch the movie 300. It's about Sparta defying odds and courage and heroism. When Tressel was asked, he said, the last movie I went to was Jaws. He should know this is in living color, and it's in HD. Chris?
Thank you, Chris. Jaws no longer in theaters, by the way. Still ahead, you're going to meet James Laurinaitis. And if you think the Butkus Award winner hits hard, wait till you meet his old man. The guy's an animal. And that's a compliment. Now, the Buckeyes receiving core was rebuilt this year. No more Ginn and Gonzalez. So it's the 2 Bryans, Robisky and Hartline, leading the aerial attack.
I'm Brian Robisky.
I'm Brian Hartline.
We are the Bryans.
For some reason, I'm better in everything. My height, my weight, looks.
He's been watching my game here for a couple of years. I think he's picked up some stuff from me.
I run better routes. I'm sorry.
I think the program says, I'm taller by a couple inches.
I got better hands, too. You're getting better, though.
I've taught him all kind of things, but, most importantly, just how to be a man.
I pull more ladies than he does, so.
I'm the better-looking guy. It's not even a competition.
Between the Bryans, definitely the better-looking guy, for sure.
You got to ask your girl. I don't think she agrees. I got to leave on that one.
Welcome back to the Built for Tough BCS on Fox pregame show. Well, Tom Brenneman, Charles Davis, and yours truly had a chance to join official BCS partners and other Fox employees as Habitat for Humanity continues its great work here in New Orleans. Our friends like Andre and Tree leading the charge as they hope to put up 50 new homes by next year. Keep up the good work, guys, all right? Now, like a lot of kids growing up, Buckeyes All-American linebacker James Laurinaitis wanted to be just like his dad. And to some degree, he is. Hits hard, plays in front of thousands of screaming fans every weekend. And he has a gig that pulls out the animal instinct in him.
I'm James Laurinaitis.
I'm Joe Laurinaitis.
I'm a linebacker.
I'm a professional wrestler.
This is the story of me and my dad.
Joey's admired professional wrestling.
The ultimate warrior. He was a wild man from the day he was born.
Yeah, and I think he got kind of the itch to want to follow in Dad's footsteps.
My father right there. He was in the ring, his whole gimmick, his whole action. People thought that that's how he was in real life. This crazy guy with spiked shoulder pads and face paint. Really, he's a big teddy bear.
You can't be an animal all the time. As soon as I stepped out of the ring, came home, I put Animal on the shelf, and then Joe Laurinaitis came out.
That same wrestling voice that you heard on in the interviews, he'd yell at me, James!
The thing you knew for sure when you went into the home was Mom was in charge.
Oh yeah, Julie's definitely the boss. My wife's the boss.
I don't know about that. I think we do it together.
James thinks we're a couple of meatheads because we met in the gym.
My mother and my father are definitely something special, and I owe it all to them.
I think James is probably a little bit more relaxed than Dad. When the ball is snapped, maybe is when you see the similarities.
James will knock your block off on the field. You get off that field, he's one of the nicest kids in the world.
I think I'm a lot like my father in the sense that on the field, I'm kind of a whole different person than when I'm off the field.
You got to have an attitude, and you got to have a screw loose. Vince McMahon's not dumb. One day James was walking through the hallway there, and he told James, he said, James, the NFL doesn't work out. You got a home here with the WWE.
I'm not going to lie. I could see myself wrestling in the future. I think I'm pretty good at selling a punch and maybe doing a body slam here or there.
James could do it. I don't think my wife would be very happy. My wife will probably jump up together for a wrestler. But I can see James doing it.
If that's ultimately what he wants to do, I'll support him. If I have to.
Well, right now I take him. Right now I take my dad in the ring.
I just don't see that happening. Sorry, James.
James knows better than to try to take me on. See, I'm from the old school. I cheat when I play.
OSU has the #1 defense in the country, but Jimmy, they better have a different game plan than they had against Irvin last year.
Yeah, Chris, in the loss last year, Ohio State played one snap of man-to-man, played a very soft defense, but this year, Irvin, they've gone to more of a pressure package.
Well, they got to be very strong on the edge because LSU's got great speed at receiver. Ohio State's strength is the front seven. If they can contain an outside run, force them inside because they're very strong with the front seven.
Ohio State allows the fewest points per game, by the way, in the entire nation. Now, LSU's defensive stud, of course, one and only Glenn Dorsey, or is that Tom Hanks? Tigers' main man mirrors the life of Forrest Gump, and we are not kidding. You'll see when we come back. And it'll be lights, camera, and action one final time for many of these seniors tonight. Their football careers, which started as little kids, comes to a close in the All-State BCS National Championship.
It's just a rush.
I mean, it's a feeling that obviously only 100 and something guys every year will get to experience.
Walking away from this group of guys that I've been around for so long is just going to be hard to adapt to.
It's going to be tough, you know, just being around the guys. It's such a life-changing experience every day.
When football's over, I plan to go back to California and become a firefighter.
Even broadcasting, anybody out there need somebody new for the job, Josh McMahon is wide receiver, LSU.
You're hired. You're hired, kid. Now, Taco Bell gave fans free tacos and the chance to run through the Taco Bell football experience at this year's All-State BCS Championship game. Taco Bell reminds you to always think outside the bun. We are coming back with much more, you little tiger, right after this. Welcome back to the Built for Tough BCS on Fox pregame show. We're going to hear from both bands tonight. We'll get it started with the best damn band in the land from Columbus, Ohio. That was Mike Neri and Sean Maloney, by the way, diding the respective eyes. Now, relatively speaking, Ohio State and LSU have two of the larger alumni in the country. In LSU's case, they also have one of the largest alum, like singular. You're going to hear his celebrity shout out in just a bit. But first, let's tee it up with Ohio State's golfing master.
Founded in 1870 under the name Ohio Agricultural and Mechanical College, The Ohio State University has obviously grown a little bit over the years and is now the largest university in the U.S. with more than 52,000 students enrolled. Our distinguished list of alumni includes Pulitzer Prize and Medal of Honor recipients, governors, senators, and congressmen, and a few pretty good athletes, too. In case you think we Buckeyes don't know how to celebrate, our Department of Dance was ranked as the top graduate program in the country. And hopefully, we'll be seeing a victory dance tonight from Coach Tressel. Let's go Bucks. Now let's go from Jack to Shaq.
Thank you, Jack Nicholas. Never knew you went to Ohio State. Learn something new every day. But let me tell you something about LSU, also known as Love Shack University. LSU began session in 1860, the same year Billy the Kid was born.
Jack Nicholas, stick 'em up. Give me your golf clubs.
The same year Abraham Lincoln was elected president.
LSU scores 7 years ago, and Ohio State will lose the game.
Our chancellor, he used to run NASA. If we wanted to, the moon could be purple and gold by tomorrow. I'd do it myself if their Shaq accessories came in my size.
And while all the other teams have cute, furry mascots, we've got Mike the Tiger. He roars! Roar! They get scared, LSU wins. Can you dig it?
Now that's a guy you should have recruited to play tight end.
I think he'd be a better defensive end.
That is amazing. Now listen, we have got some very famous people not only watching the game on TV, but also hanging out here as well. We've got the likes of Archie Manning here, and of course Jamarcus Russell, former LSU quarterback, his old receiver Dwayne Bowe, and Troy Smith, who led the Buckeyes into the title game last year. Time right now, though, to hear the Golden Band from Tigerland, okay? You heard from the best damn band in the land, so we're an equal opportunity sort of group, so let's give a listen. This is sweet music for LSU fans. Glenn Dorsey is the healthiest he has been in months. His tweaked knee is solid. So is his bruised buttocks. Yeah, I said buttocks, like Forrest Gump. And apparently Dorsey and Tom Hanks' character in the movie share more in common than we first thought. Leg braces as kids and a very interesting tale.
Hey, I'm Glenn Dorsey. Those are like pretty uncomfortable shoes. You know, there's an awful lot you can tell about a person by their shoes. I've worn a lot of shoes in my day. My mama says my shoe can take me anywhere. When I was little, I wore braces on my legs. I'm not really sure what the medical term for it was. I just know I was bow-legged. My toes pointed at each other. They said the braces would straighten out my legs, and what do you know it? They did. I felt so free once those braces came off and I could run. I knew there was no stopping me. I wanted everybody to feel the freedom that I felt. These people were all partying and happy and spray painting and laughing. It was a great time. They were just happy to be free, just like me.
That's some story, son. Good luck to you.
Thanks. You'd like some chocolates?
No, thank you.
You know, there was a time where I couldn't even eat chocolate. I had to weigh me for all my football games. If I didn't weigh a certain weight, they wouldn't let me play. They even weighed in naked sometimes, just to play football.
Man, that's crazy. You must have really wanted to play.
That was right about the time I really started to spread my wings. They had this new thing called reality TV. And when you know it, they picked me to be on a new show.
My mom told me to never talk to strangers. Mine blew 6 of them. Jenny keeps nagging me for leaving the light on before I go to bed and playing football in the house.
Wait a minute, that was you? I remember you were hilarious on that show.
Yeah, I lived quite a life, but that was only the beginning. Back some years ago, I couldn't figure out who would be the president of the United States, so I had to go to Florida and help out.
I strongly disagree.
I never did get to hang out with the Chad guy they kept talking about. You sound so good. I wish I could sing like that. I was gonna be a professional singer, but just like people say I'm too short to play football, I had to prove them wrong.
I'm gonna be singing a song. It's all about my hometown. Born on the bayou, for you ready? Let's go, baby. Born on the bayou.
Do you believe you're the next American Idol?
You sound like an annoying 6-year-old.
But that didn't work out quite so well. So I kept playing football, and playing football. But wouldn't you know it, worked out pretty well.
Let's go, baby!
Yeah, it's been quite a ride. And after they gave me a whole bunch of trophies for playing football, I'm ready for one more, BCS National Championship.
Well, son, you don't have to wait for a bus. It's already in New Orleans at the Superdome, but you better hurry. The pregame show is already on.
Pregame? Really? It's just right there? I'm sorry, it's nice talking to you. I have a game to play.
I think everybody's thrilled that Glenn Dorsey decided to play football, except for this guy to my left. Just how good is Glenn Dorsey, Urban?
Well, whenever you face a dominant defensive lineman, the biggest issue is in pass protection. And one of the ways to try to handle him is you slide the protection and slide the center towards the dominant defensive lineman, for example, Dorsey here. So you can see the center working to his left. The other thing you can do with the back in the backfield is use him to chip and get a double team on a D lineman like this.
Urban, I know this. You were probably calling some of these defensive linemen before the show. The most difficult position to find outside of quarterback, and maybe the most important outside of quarterback, is that big, strong defensive tackle that can run and has explosiveness like Dorsey.
Yeah, he reminds me of a former college teammate of mine, Dan Wilkins, whom I played with back at Ohio State. Big, strong, athletic, and disruptive.
Yeah, he's a guy that obviously can get it done. And Glenn Dorsey, last 3 games, no tackles behind the line of scrimmage, but that might change tonight, of course, if he is healthy. Now, Glenn Dorsey and all the Tigers, they appeal to both the young and the old out there, and that's no big surprise. Look at this little guy. Pretty much if you're born in this state of Louisiana, you're a Tigers fan from birth. And that holds true as well with Herman Johnson. Now, when the guard arrived in Baton Rouge, he weighed almost 400 pounds. That was pretty much predictable at birth.
Herman the House Johnson, left guard. 6'7", but I'm 6'10" with the fro, weighing in at 365 pounds. I came in weighing 15 pounds, 14 ounces, and I was the biggest baby ever born in Louisiana.
They brought him around. It was like, oh my God, he was huge. It was like it was like something I'd never seen before. It was like unreal, and it came out of me.
Watch for me to come up huge in the BCS National Championship on Fox.
That was one enormous child. Do you have any idea how big you were when you were a kid?
I wasn't that big, about like 7-8 pounds, but not 15.
What do you say we check it out? I think,
really?
Yeah, I've got a little something for you. Yeah.
Oh, look at
Eddie, Eddie.
Yeah.
You were not a cute. You were not a cute kid.
This was a cute kid.
Oh, look at here, nice smile, Urban.
Jimmy here,
barking orders back in 6 months old. That's cute.
Where's yours, Jimmy?
Well, they didn't have cameras cameras back in my day.
Right. No, actually they did, Jimmy. Believe it or not.
No, they had no cameras. No, that wasn't me.
It was.
Hey, that's a lookalike there.
I'll tell you, that kid's got great eyes. I think your eye color has changed in recent years.
Nice hair, too. Yeah, nice.
All right, when we come back, we'll put the finishing touches on the Built Ford Tough pregame, so hold tight, okay?
To reach the BCS, teams need the balance to be able to move the ball both on the ground and through the air. Tonight, FedEx shines its air and ground spotlight on 3 teams who have gotten it done on the ground and through the air all season long. Log on to foxsports.com/FedEx and vote for this season's ultimate air and ground team. The Florida Gators' passing and ground attack was led by Tim Tebow this season. With 29 passing touchdowns and 22 on the ground, Tebow provided the Gators with a balanced, well-coordinated air and ground game. The USC Trojans brought a winning combination of air and ground to their offense. John David Booty headed their air attack, passing for more than 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. The Trojans' ground game averaged 185 rush yards a game and scored 20 touchdowns. USC uses teamwork to be the best on the ground and through the air. The West Virginia Mountaineers use speed and precision to be the leader on the ground and through the air. Patrick White and the Mountaineers' passing offense, combined with an explosive ground attack, make the Mountaineers a force in college football. Their rushing offense was ranked 4th in the nation. West Virginia gets it done on the ground and through the air. This look at the ultimate air and ground games in college football has been brought to you by FedEx Express and FedEx Ground. To vote for the team with the strongest air and ground game, log on to foxsports.com/FedEx.
So there you have it. You can vote for Florida, USC, or West Virginia. We've got 2 pretty good offenses, Ohio State and LSU, getting ready to take the field. We'll give you our final thoughts when we return to New Orleans right after this. Cincinnati's Wesley Brown is the grand prize winner of the Built Ford Tough Champions Tailgate. He's now the proud owner of the ultimate tailgating Ford F-150 with 5 plasma screens, satellite TV, a built-in grill, and Xbox 360. Wesley also received 8 tickets to the BCS championship game for him and his friends and a VIP trip to Glendale, Arizona this February. Remember, we still have 1 more ultimate tailgating Ford F-150 and trip for 2 to Glendale to give away. Log on to foxsports.com/tailgate now. It's your last chance to win. We are back on the Built Ford Tough BCS on Fox pregame show. Kickoff just minutes away. And, of course, for some of the Ohio State seniors, this will be their final chance to ever play a game. That's right, they are hanging up the cleats after tonight.
Being a Buckeye is all about tradition. You know, from the horseshoe to the skull session to just being a close-knit family.
Running in front of 105,000 people, screaming and cheering on the Bucks. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
It's the end of one chapter, but the beginning of another. I've had a great time here. I would take nothing back.
It's going to be a bittersweet moment, you know. It's going to be your last game, but at the same time, it's exciting to see them excited, to look around on the sideline and see my teammates smiling.
All right, final thoughts coming up, but first it is time for the playing of our national anthem. So let's turn it over to the public address announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem will be performed by National Medal of Arts recipients, New Orleans' very own Preservation Hall Jazz Band with guest vocalist Clint Majan.
This place is amped up. Guys, before we get out of here, I need your keys to the game. First of all, for your Ohio State Buckeyes, how do they win?
For Ohio State, they have to establish the run game with Beanie Wells. He's a fantastic running back. He can break at any point in time in the course of the game. If they can get him going, they can take pressure off of Todd Beckman to make the throws downfield.
What about LSU, Urban Meyer? How do they win?
They need to tackle Chris Wells. If they tackle Chris Wells, he's the difference in the Michigan game and force Ohio State into man coverage.
All right, Jimmy?
As always, ball security is the '1 key. And then going in this game, LSU had the edge on special teams, both with kickers and return man, Trinidad Holiday. A Smurf, 5'5", and he can fly.
All right, guys. Well, let's get ready for kickoff. We will see you guys once again at halftime. Coming up next, it's #1 Ohio State, #2 LSU. Tom Brenneman, Charles Davis, Chris Myers will have the call. The Tigers looking for their 3rd title. The Buckeyes looking for their 8th national championship.
A raucous crowd, and I mean raucous crowd, of nearly 80,000 strong, jam-packed into the Superdome for this All-State BCS National Championship game between #2 LSU and #1 Ohio State. In what has been one of college football's wildest seasons, with 4 different teams ranked #1, 17 different teams ranked in the top 5. Tonight, we finally crown a champion of college football. And hi again, everybody, alongside Charles Davis and Chris Myers. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to the All-State BCS National Championship game here on Fox. Charles, there are plots, there are subplots. We'll talk about each and every one of them throughout the night. But for you, what is the most intriguing matchup of this title game?
For me, Tom, it's Ohio State's defense against LSU's offense. Ohio State has the #1 defense in the country, and they've got a tough task on their hands tonight. But if you have a visitor here and has never seen football before, LSU's offense may astound and confound them, because you'll see it all tonight. Power sets, 1 back, 5 wide receivers, no backs, and it'll be run by 2 quarterbacks, and it's all put together by their offensive coordinator, a guy that his players call the Wizard. So tonight, Ohio State cannot ignore the man behind the curtain.
All right, for Ohio State, thousands and thousands of times the question, what happened? What happened in last year's title game? Can they exercise those demons tonight?
They started to try and exercise them as soon as the game was over last year, Tom. When they got back to Ohio State, they changed the lock code on the football department to 41-14. That was the final score of their loss to Florida in the title game. They had more blue-collar work ethic and less Hollywood-style players. So tonight, we're going to see 3 great players on the defensive side for Ohio State. At defensive end, at linebacker, and at defensive back. They're poised and they're ready to strike.
The Tigers take the field, the champions of the Southeastern Conference. They're led, of course, on the defensive side by the great Glenn Dorsey, who won every major defensive award there was given out. Another All-American, their safety, Craig Steltz, grew up in New Orleans and dreamed about a chance to play in this title game. Let's send it downstairs. The 3rd member of our broadcast team, Chris Myers.
Tom, thank you. With Les Miles, head coach at LSU, just ran out onto the field. You got here by taking risks. You have a reputation as being a gambler. Will that be the approach tonight, given what's on the line?
No, we hope everything's answered by the time we get to 3rd down. But if need be, we may have to extend ourselves.
Going conservative on us. All right, and campus is what, 60, 80 miles from here? Do you have a home field advantage in this game?
Well, we'll enjoy some noise, but inside these white stripes is all about 11 players. They got 11 and we got 11.
All right, have fun tonight, Coach.
Take care.
Tommy, we now welcome the champions of the Big Ten Conference, the #1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Defense, the name of the game in Columbus. The best linebacker in the country is James Laurinaitis, the Butkus Award winner this season. And up front, Vernon Golston, a second-team All-American, the Big Ten's Defensive Lineman of the Year. 13 sacks to tie Mike Vrabel's single-season Ohio State record. $80,000 plus, ready to roll. When we come back, the coin toss. Right around the corner is the All-State BCS National Championship game. Welcome back to New Orleans, the Superdome, for this All-State BCS National Championship game. The Ohio State Buckeyes at 11-1. The LSU Bayou Bengals 11-2. The first two-loss team to ever play since the advent of the BCS for a national championship game. The team captains make their way to midfield, and we're set for the coin toss.
All right, gentlemen, congratulations on being here. I want to introduce 1976 Heisman Trophy and National Championship winner Tony Dorsett. Mr. Dorsett's going to toss a coin tonight. LSU, you're the visiting team. It's going to be your call. Okay. The coin, BCS is heads. Your call.
Tails.
Tails is a call. Mr. Dorsett.
Showtime.
Tails it is. Your choice. LSU has won the toss. They'll defer to the second half. Which end do you want to defend?
Defend this end.
Put your backs that way. You put yours here. Ohio State will receive at this end.
So Jim Tressel, Les Miles have prepared their teams for almost 2 months. It's time to lock up when we come back. What an unbelievable atmosphere here at the Superdome in New Orleans. Of course, the LSU campus just 80 miles away in Baton Rouge. Ohio State travels as well, if not better than any school in the country. The Buckeye faithful, well represented. Sean Godet to kick it away. Ray Small set to return it for Ohio State. And the All-State BCS National Championship game is underway. This is Jamario O'Neal from the 15. Breaks it to the outside, and he is dropped at the 22 by R.J. Jackson. Well, here come the Buckeyes offensively. 23-year-old first-year starter is Todd Beckman. Came to Ohio State in 2003, took a red shirt in 04. In 05 and 06, was a number 3 quarterback behind Troy Smith and Justin Zwick. Only played in 6 games until this year. He's only lost once. He's thrown 23 touchdowns against 12 interceptions. The Buckeyes start in a 2-tailback set.
Brandon Sane at fullback.
Play action. First down, incomplete, and right from the get-go, Beckman knocked to the deck by Ricky Jean-Francois. The Buckeyes offensively, all Big Ten performer at left tackle in Alex Boone. A 4-year starter in Kirk Barton on the right side. Chris Wells rushed for nearly 1,500 yards as a sophomore. Beckman's favorite target, Brian Robisky, caught 50 passes during the season. This is Chris Wells. He plows ahead out to the 28-yard line. 3rd down and 5 upcoming for Ohio State. LSU sports a number 3 ranked defense in college football. Their all-world defensive tackle is Glenn Dorsey. Linebacking core, Ali Highsmith, a senior, an All-American, an All-SEC performer in the middle, Derry Beckwith, and Craig Steltz, a first-team All-American at strong safety.
Two tailbacks. Yeah, sorry, Tom. Two tailbacks in the game again. This is Brandon Sane, the second tailback here on the wing. That's Wells moving out.
Empty backfield. Robisky, that is a first down out to the 36-yard line. So an early third down conversion for Ohio State.
I think what we will see early as they pick up the first down from Ohio State and Jim Tressel in his play calling is he's going to call this game in reverse to start. He wants Todd Beckman, his quarterback, to get comfortable, get his confidence back. Short throws that he can complete, spread the field, even though they're not a spread team, using spread principles to try and get LSU out of that eight-man in the box defensive alignment.
Wells, a big burst to the outside. Beanie Wells to the 30, the 20. A lunge for a tackle. Touchdown, Buckeyes, 65 yards. "65 yards, a career-long touchdown burst for Chris Wells. What a start again in a title game for Ohio State.
Last year, a kickoff return on the opening kick of the game against Florida. Now, early in the game, Beanie Wells goes the distance.
Ryan Pretorius, a point after. We're not even a minute 30 into this All-State BCS National Championship game. And an early blow delivered by the Buckeyes. Chris Wells, 65 yards, 7-0, Ohio State. Chris Wells, the longest touchdown run in a BCS championship game. Senior Kirk Martin and that offensive line helped lead the way.
This is an offensive line that was so maligned after last year's game. And what a terrific start for them, chopping a big hole early in the defensive front of LSU and springing Chris Wells.
Aaron Petrie had the ball fall off the tee. He's set to kick it away. And waiting back for the Tigers, number 8, Trendon Holiday, and number 5, Keelan Williams. Booming kick by Petrie. Williams will take a knee in the end zone. Let's go back to the touchdown by Beanie Wells.
Watch offensive line. Ben Person, number 63. He's the first guy. He's going to come around. And watch right here. Alex Boone gets to the second level for the block, which allows Wells with the vision to go the distance. Look at that. There's Person. Boone on the second level, getting on the safety Curtis Taylor. And Wells with great vision on the cutback, and then he outruns the All-American Craig Stelz to the end zone.
Well, now LSU gets a football led by their senior quarterback, Matt Flynn, who patiently waited his turn behind Matt Monk and Jamarcus Russell his first 3 seasons at LSU. This is Jacob Hester, and not much running room. Swept up by Marcus Freeman after a gain of 3. The Tigers up front, all SEC performers in black. Johnson, 28 consecutive starts for Helms in the middle. Weapons all over the field. Hester rushed for better than 1,000 yards. A trio of outstanding receivers. Key Singer gets a start at tight end. Richard Dixon will get a lot of playing time. Richard Murphy in back of Hester in the I formation. Play fake to him. Flynn dumps it off, dropped by early Doucette. Ted Ginn Jr. here tonight. Boy, did he electrify the crowd at Glendale, Arizona with that 97-yard kickoff return on the opening kickoff of the game. He got hurt celebrating in the end zone. The night went south quickly for Jim Tressel and Ohio State.
His team was so exuberant about the touchdown, they injured a main cog in their attack.
3rd down and 7. They need to get to the 30. And the snap sails by Flynn, who has to cover it up at his own 5.
Snap from Brett Helms just goes right past Matt Flynn, and he does the smart thing. He just gets on the football. Sometimes being the home team can be a slight disadvantage because you have so much support around you the whole time getting ready that sometimes you come out a little over anxious and instead of excited to play, and LSU's had a few errors early.
Patrick Fisher punts from his own end zone. Hartline and small weight. What a punt by Fisher, sending Hartline to the 32. Stiff arms his way across to the 40 and spotted at the 41-yard line. A 61-yard punt, a 9-yard return. Ohio State gets it back when we return. Join the live BCS play calling competition. Predict plays before the snap for your chance to win. Text BCS to 386 from your AT&T wireless phone, exclusively from AT&T, or you can play now at AT&TBlueRoom.com. Second possession for the Buckeyes starts at their own 41.
Once again, they go empty set.
And Beckman to throw on 1st down. Wide open, Brandon Sane. Tiptoes down the sideline all the way down to the 15. Ohio's Mr. Football a season ago, an electrifying back who is an outstanding receiver.
We talked at the top of the show about what LSU would show offensively, but don't let Jim Tressel's sweater vest fool you. He will show a lot of formations, a lot of different routes, and in this case, Brandon Sane, the second tailback on a wheel route. The corner tried to jump a hitch, and he got behind him, and Beckman found him.
Now out of the I formation, it's Wells, and he just plows ahead of the 10-yard line.
You see how Jim Tressel has called this game in reverse, opening it up on 1st and 10, hits the big pass play downfield. Watch Sane, he's number 3 right here. He's going to get downfield on the wheel route. Watch the cornerback. He comes up, jumps, he thinks it's going to be a short hitch to the wide receiver. That allows Sane deep into the secondary before Stelz has to make the tackle. But the 1st down passes loosen things up a little bit inside for the run game for Ohio State.
Early movement along the line.
Start, 71 offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's a junior from just outside Cincinnati, Steve Rearing.
And those are the penalties that drive coaches crazy. You've got everything going your way. Don't stop your own momentum.
Bo Pelini, the 3rd-year defensive coordinator. Tonight, of course, his final game in this capacity. He moves on, having already been named the head coach at Nebraska. And by the way, he's an Ohio State alum.
And he said that multitasking would not hurt his preparation.
2nd and 10, Beckman inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line. Broke up by Kirsten Pittman after a gain of 6. It is early, not even 5 minutes into the game, but Ohio State could not have scripted a better start so far.
It's been absolutely perfect. And Jim Tressel fools you with the appearance, but runs as varied an offense as you're going to see in college football when he so chooses. And thus far tonight, he has chosen to do so, and it's been very effective. And here he is coming out again, no backs, to try and pull people out of the box.
Trips to the right, Small and Hartline to the left. Beckman dropped, maybe a gain of 1. So 4th down and coming for Ohio State. Nice. And they'll send the field goal unit out.
Nice job by Bo Pelini's defense. The tough thing about running no backs and spreading and trying to throw when you're close towards the end zone is the back part of the end zone becomes an extra defender. Guys don't have to retreat as far in their coverage. They get to come up and snug up against the receivers and have tighter coverage. That time they cause Beckman to pull it down and run it.
The native South African Pretorius bangs it through the uprights. 9 minutes and 12 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Ohio State 10, LSU nothing.
Back in New Orleans, sometimes the circle of life in football can take you a number of ways, from high school through college to the BCS All-State Championship game. That's the story for two guys in this game. Two local kids from Archbishop Rummel High School here in New Orleans playing in this one. LSU's Craig Stelz, the defensive back. Ohio State's Nader Abdullah. They played their games at John Yeti Stadium. They toiled on the practice field during their early years as teammates. In 2003, they were Catholic League champions. Tonight, only one will be a champion. One a Buckeye, one an LSU Tiger. The two will be forever linked, and they're both thankful for that. Tom?
Chris, great stuff. We thank you very much. Petrie set to kick it away already for the second time tonight. 5 is Williams, 8 is Holiday. And again, a booming kick into the end zone by Petrie. And Holiday takes a knee. Take a look at the Fox jumper scope going back to the big pass play to Brandon Sane.
Bottom of the screen, Beanie Wells is your outside receiver. The running back lined up as a wide receiver. What happens? Chevish Jackson, the all-conference corner, jumps the hitch route. Ali Highsmith, the linebacker, follows him. Brandon Sane in the slot, gets downfield unimpeded until Craig Stelz pulls him down late.
Flynn brings him back out there. It's an LSU offense that became the first in school history to score more than 500 points in a season. This is Jacob Hester. He's out across the 20, maybe picks up a yard, tripped up by Larry Grant. We'll call it a gain of 2. Ohio State, the #1 ranked team defensively in college football. Golston on one end, the freshman Hayward on the other end. Linebacking core, competitive, tough, fast. Marcus Freeman, you know about James Laurinaitis, and the lone senior starter is Larry Grant. In the secondary, an All-American is Malcolm Jenkins, Donald Washington, a first-year starter, Kurt Coleman, a first-year starter, and strong safety.
Got the speed guy in the game now, Trendon Holiday, the 5'5" speedster at the top of the screen.
Hester on the pitch. And this stingy, and we mean stingy, Ohio State defense knocks him down, led by Larry Grant. And you look at some of the numbers, the Buckeyes #1 in scoring defense. They only give up 10 points a game. #1 in pass defense, #1 in total defense. They're 3rd in the country in rushing defense, 3rd in sacks, 6th in tackles for loss.
There's the defensive coordinator, Jim Haycock, and what often gets lost is that they were very good defensively last year until the final 2 games of the year against Michigan and Florida. This year, they're even better.
3rd and 7, good protection, and a catch by Doucette. They'll move the chains for the first time tonight. Early Doucette, the senior from St. Martinville, Louisiana. 4th all-time in receptions at LSU.
What this first down does for LSU is allows them to exhale a little bit and kind of get into the game. A little bit shell-shocked with the start. Ohio State hit them hard with the long run. Then they came back on defense and snapped the ball past the quarterback. Couldn't get anything going. That first down, key for LSU.
Play fake to Scott. Again, Flynn to throw it. Drops it off to his fullback, Quinn Johnson. To the 37-yard line. Ohio State on defense. Vernon Golston, 13 sacks on the year, including 3 in the season finale against Michigan. James Laurinaitis, the 2007 Butkus Award winner, led the team with over 100 tackles. And in the secondary, Malcolm Jenkins, a second-team All-American, first-team All-Big Ten performer.
All-Americans at all 3 levels, defensive line, linebacker, and in the secondary, we have a matchup of 2 teams with that exact configuration.
And off to Hester. Laurinaitis steps up to meet him at the 40. So another third down upcoming. What an outstanding kid. What an outstanding player is Jacob Hester. A complete player who can do it all. Run it, catch it, blocks out of the backfield, will play fullback sometimes, plays on special teams. A hard-nosed runner with very deceptive speed.
And he has the trust of his head coach and offensive coordinator. That's why he got the ball to start the season. That's why he continues to get the ball. He never turns it over. His last fumble, his freshman year, 2004.
3rd and 3. Hester a first down and then some. Across midfield, all the way down to the 40-yard line.
Look to the left side of your screen. Number 74, Brett Helms, great positioning. Herman Johnson, 79, folds through. There's Lyle, hit 65. And when the hole opens, look at the eyes of Jacob Hester. Now they're focused downfield. See how he's looking left and right to try and find him? Then he takes on Anderson Russell and wins the battle for another couple of yards.
A gain of 20. Flynn looking towards the sideline, walks it into the hands, and making the catch, getting a foot down is early Doucette to the 24.
What we just saw on that throw, a 16-yard gain for LSU, was great touch by Matt Flynn to his #1 target, early Doucette. Look at how he gets the ball over Anderson Russell, number 21. Doucette comes down, first foot down, even gets a second foot down for good measure. But what a great job they did in the offseason working together, developing that chemistry.
Doucette takes a handoff and dances his way to the 20-yard line. A gain of 4, 2nd and 6 upcoming. Well, these amazing pictures are provided by the DLP Amazing Picture Cam. DLP is the official HD TV of the BCS on Fox. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. Well, after an early Buckeye touchdown, followed up by a field goal, LSU has marched down the field. Ninth play of this drive coming up.
Gone to the pistol formation.
Running inside the 15 for Charles Scott, their 4th leading rusher this season.
I mean, you talk about the 3rd leading rusher, so you're talking about Jacob Hester is their leading guy, Keelan Williams, their speed guy, number 2, Charles Scott, number 32, just got the carry. They'll also run Trendon Holiday, their super fast guy, number 8, and Richard Murphy is liable to get some carries too. 5 different backs that they trust with the football.
But when they need the big yards, Hester's in the game.
But when they need big yards, big play, key plays, look for him to touch it.
3rd and 1. Hester. First down yardage to the Ohio State 12.
When they go into the huddle and they hear the play call for number 18, Jacob Hester, watch the double tight ends there. Dixon 82, Zinger 89. See them both blocked down? That allows hit 65 and number 40, Sean Jordan, to fold around and clear a hole for Jacob Hester. But when they hear number 18's play call, everyone has more confidence. Everyone works harder at their job because they believe in him carrying the football.
2 tight end set, Doucette in motion, and Flynn going to keep it himself. And nowhere to go. Larry Grant, who grew up in Norcross, Georgia, in on the tackle. Flynn injured his ankle early in the year, missed a game. He injured his shoulder the second to last game of the season. Did not play in the SEC championship. Ryan Perilou started that game and was the MVP.
And don't be surprised if we see Ryan Perilou in the ball game pretty soon, just to get his feet wet. Check out a package and see what he can get done. They have more confidence in him now than they did earlier in the season when he was struggling with off-the-field issues. Trendon Holiday, number 8, in the backfield now.
then it almost appeared to be a busted play of some kind, and
he was
Coleman
play
there
faking
along with Denlinger and a host of other Buckeyes.
And he's letting Trendon Holiday know about it too, because he was play fake. It was a play action type play, and there was no back to fake it to. Flynn was left exposed and then buried by the defense in front of Ohio State. Watch, Holiday goes out wide, no one there, and Nader Abdallah, who Chris Myers just profiled from right here in New Orleans, gets his first big tackle of the game.
Perfect on third down so far in this drive. This by far the most lengthy at 3rd and 13.
One receiver is Doucette, number 9, but Brandon LaFell, number 1's a nice target.
LSU forced to spend a timeout. 2:31 to play in the opening quarter. Ohio State in front, 10-0. Aerial coverage brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. Les Miles, a Michigan man. Jim Tressel, the head coach at Ohio State. I think we can start calling Les Miles an LSU man.
He's definitely an LSU man, and Ohio State likes to play man in this situation in the red zone.
Flynn under heavy heat from Golston, and Hayward has to throw it away.
I know Les Miles has a reputation as being a gambling type coach, but you don't do anything but kick it right here. Colt David has set a single season record for kickers at LSU. Try and get 3 on the board and not have this drive be in vain. Nice job by Ohio State, forcing Flynn out of the pocket.
A 32-yard field goal try for David out of the hold of Matt Flynn. And the kick is right down the middle. And LSU with 2:21 to play in the opening quarter on the board. Nader Abdallah grew up in New Orleans. Proud of his defense for a big stop a moment ago. Won both games. Great. Yeah. Well, next Saturday on Fox, the Seattle Seahawks travel to Green Bay to take on the Packers in an NFC divisional matchup. That's at 3:30 Eastern Saturday. 12:30 Pacific. And then on Sunday, the playoffs continue here on Fox. The New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys meet for the 3rd time this year. Dallas won the first 2. Sunday's game, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, both in high definition, only on Fox.
Get a sense now we've settled into a football game. You know, we had a little bit of a track meet to start things off, didn't we? Big plays, both sides. Now I think we've kind of settled in. Okay. Let's go mano a mano. Let's see who comes out.
Very short kick will be handled by Maurice Wells at the 10, to the 25, to the 27. Well, we were there a season ago. Number 1 ranked unbeaten Ohio State taking on the Florida Gators for the national title. The opening kickoff, bang, Ted Ginn Jr. 93 yards for a touchdown, then injured his ankle. But Florida just chewed him up. A Dallas Baker score, an Andre Caldwell score. Chris Leak, the MVP. Gators won it 41-14. Ohio State tries to forget that game in a second national title game consecutively here tonight. And this is Chris Wells. And he's to the 33-yard line. I'd like to remind you, Nissan and the all-new 2009 Nissan Murano offering fans a chance to attend the 2009 FedEx BCS National Championship game in Miami. Just log on to foxsports.com for details on how to enter for your chance to win. Second and 5, they pitch it to Wells, who dodges one tackler and spins his way out to the 40, a first down. What a start for Wells. 5 carries, 87 yards, including a BCS championship game record 65-yard touchdown.
It's a terrific start for him. And on that play, he made it happen because the play was forced initially by the corner. As you see, Ohio State 14.5 yards per play to get the game started. It was forced by the corner. Wells cut inside of it, made it miss, and then hurdled into the secondary to pick up the first down.
Good protection this time. Wells looking for Hartline, and terrific coverage by Jonathan Zenon.
Excellent coverage by Zenon, the corner, but I like the play call by Jim Tressel. I love the aggressiveness. So many people they just got getting hammered for 365 days. What went wrong? How did this happen? Why weren't you ready to play? He's come out and been aggressive from the word go tonight. You talk about exercising demons. He wasn't going to allow them to think about last year by how they started tonight's game.
There has certainly been a steely edge about this Buckeye team last season compared to the one a year ago. They pitch it to Wells on second down, and this time bottled up after a gain of 2. First time we've called Glenn Dorsey's name tonight. The most decorated defender in LSU history. Winner of the Nagurski, Lombardi, Outland, and Lott Awards.
He won everything, but watch Glenn Dorsey in the middle, number 72. Watch him play the piano, as they say, meaning moving laterally down the line of scrimmage, controlling the blocker in front of him, and falling into the tackle. Well done by the All-American, but maybe the best defensive player in the country.
3rd and 8.
This is what Ohio State wanted to avoid, getting behind the chains, 3rd and long.
Beckman steps up, and incomplete looking at Hartline. Hartline looking for a flag, didn't get it.
I still say an excellent call on first down. Take your shot downfield, be aggressive. The problem for them was 2nd and 10. They didn't pick up very much. Ended up 3rd and long, and that allowed LSU to get their nickel and dime package on the field and cover the receivers. I do like the aggressiveness of Ohio State, though. I like how they've come out. They're going to go ahead and challenge LSU. And I'm sitting there saying, Glenn Dorsey and that defense is so good. Let's go make them be good tonight.
A.J. Trapasso, the Ohio State punter. Chad Jones, the freshman, stands at his own 20. Angle toward the sideline. Jones from the 8. And still on his feet. The 15, the ball is loose. And who's got it? There is a scramble at the 15-yard line. The Buckeyes say they have it.
Everybody's pulling and grabbing, of course. A shoe just came out of the pile.
And it looks like Harry Coleman is at the bottom of the pile with the football for LSU.
And how big is this for LSU? Excellent tackle by Marcus Freeman, works the ball free. Now, who's going to get on top of it? Looks like both sides have a shot at it. And Coleman, number 24. Nice job. Marcus Freeman is the linebacker that's forgotten for Ohio State because of all the plaudits for James Laurinaitis, and deservedly so. But Marcus Freeman can flat out play on the outside.
Matt Flynn on a shotgun, looking right, throws to Doucette. And he's to the 22-yard line. On the final play of the opening quarter, a gain of 6. Ohio State jumped out to a 10-0 lead. LSU comes back, kicks a field goal, 10-3. We move to quarter number
2. A sleek, responsive touchscreen. VCast video. Music. And GPS navigation ready.
Turn left.
And that's just the half of it. The Voyager, with full keyboard and touchscreen. Touch does more on America's most reliable wireless network, Verizon Wireless.
Okay, let's get started.
We begin the second stanza of the BCS All-State National Championship game here on Fox, along with Charles Davis and Chris Myers. For our entire crew, I'm Tom Brenneman. Great to have you with us. 10-3 Ohio State as we begin the second quarter. 2nd and 4 for LSU from their own 21. Hand off to Hester. Short of the first down, it appears by a yard. Golston, Laurinaitis, Freeman converge on the tackle. Our game summary brought to you by Ford. You look at the numbers, overwhelmingly in Ohio State's favor, but it's only a 7-point spread.
Obviously, the Chris Wells 65-yard touchdown helps tilt things in the favor of Ohio State, but you also have to compliment the play calling of Jim Tressel, throwing the ball on first down and creating good big plays that way also.
Out of the I formation, they give it to Hester, a first down. Anderson Russell hit him at the 29. And Hester ran through him after a 5-yard gain.
That's 2 plays now that I've seen Jacob Hester have to take on Anderson Russell in the secondary. And so far, Hester is 2-0 in winning that one-on-one battle, gaining additional yardage. And look who's coming to the game, number 11, Ryan Perrilloux, the backup quarterback.
Perrilloux played in 11 games this season, threw 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, ran for 251 yards, and was the MVP of the SEC championship game. He went the distance in place of the injured Flynn.
He's a runner.
The option, he got it away to Keelan Williams, and he's run out of bounds close to a first down. Wow. And a flag comes in late along the sideline.
It's going to be the late hit on the sideline, I believe, as Williams goes out of bounds. I think they're going to flag Ohio State for a little extra.
Play, personal foul, number 92 on the defense. Late hit out of bounds, 15 yards out of the dead ball spot, first down.
The thing about Perrilloux being in the game is that the entire playbook is open for LSU, but what he's most known for when he first comes into the game is quarterback run series. As we take a look at the end of the play, Brandon LaFell, number 1, blocking on Donald Washington. I'm not sure that that was actually based on that angle. It looked like he was being pushed as he went over the sideline, but the officials right there saying he got knocked out of bounds. He was hit after he was out of bounds.
Flynn right back in there, works out of the shotgun, drops it off to Williams. And the true freshman from Sewanee, Georgia, Cameron Hayward, runs him down, a freshman All-American. He is the son of the late Craig Ironhead Hayward. They think he'll be a great one.
Watch this pursuit by this guy inside the down defensive lineman, Craig Hayward. Cameron Hayward, number 97. Goes through, pursues, and runs down one of the faster backs for LSU, Keelan Williams. That's a beautiful play by a defensive end and a freshman, true freshman at that, even has Jim Tressel excited by his play.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. Flynn to a wide open Demetrius Byrd to the 25. And a flag is down on the play, right where the tackle was made.
Caught him in a zone blitz, Tom.
Personal foul, face mask number 33 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Watch coming from the top, Kurt Coleman from the right of your screen. Golston in his face, Coleman comes, but finding him in the hole. And right there, Laurinaitis at the end of the play has a face mask on Demetrius Byrd, the receiver, which tacks on big yardage at the end of a big game.
LSU quickly to the line of scrimmage, and a touchdown to Richard Dixon. Point after upcoming for Court David. 4th receiving touchdown this season for Dixon. He is an outstanding tight end.
Matt Flynn has a special connection with him, but I love what the man they call the Wizard dialed up there, the offense coordinator Gary Croton, a special formation that made it unbalanced, it appeared, and Richard Dixon on the backside, and they went hurry up before Ohio State had a chance to react. And Dixon takes it into the end zone. Flynn celebrates, and we have a tie ball game.
after a shaky opening possession for the Bayou Bengals. Followed up by a 14-play drive, a field goal, and a touchdown throw to Richard Dixon to tie this All-State BCS National Championship game at 10 apiece.
And we were talking about the aggressiveness of Jim Tressel. Gary Croton matched his aggressiveness on that drive with a little bit of sleight of hand with the last formation.
Godet, another very short kick. Way small from the 12-yard line. And he is hammered at the 23.
Take a look at what LSU did on the touchdown. First and foremost, they bunch 4 receivers here, which brings all of Ohio State secondary here. But look, there's no one back here for the tight end, Richard Dixon, who is in an unbalanced formation. No coverage whatsoever. They confused him with the alignment, outflanked them, and get him back on the short side. An easy throw for Flynn, and Richard Dixon did not miss the layup. There's Gary Croton, the offensive coordinator, former head coach at BYU and Louisiana Tech. He's got plenty more in his bag tonight that he wants to use.
Beanie Wells breaks it to the outside across the 30, just stiff arms Jackson, crosses midfield. Wow. Chevis Jackson run over on the stiff arm from Chris Wells.
How about that? This is an offensive line that has been maligned since last year's title game against Florida. Tonight, coupled with their fullbacks, Tyler Whaley, number 42, Ben Person, 63, and look at this straight arm by Chris Wells, knocking over Chevis Jackson, the all-SEC corner. Archie Griffin is the number 1 name in Ohio State history running the football. Chris Wells trying to join in on that list.
Well, he's passed him tonight for the all-time sophomore single-season rushing record. Beckman to throw on first down. This is Brian Robisky inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Of course, Robisky, his father, a legendary figure in LSU history, the MVP of the Southeastern Conference back in 1976. His father's here tonight, an assistant coach with the Miami Dolphins. And even though he's an LSU alum, he says, I ain't rooting for LSU.
No, when it comes to blood, blood's going to win ahead of school when blood's involved in the contest.
Chris Wells again, and this time there to meet him is Kirsten Pittman. Flags now litter the field. Archie Griffin, what an unbelievable career he had. A 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The only player to do so in 74 and 75. Led the Buckeyes in rushing 4 straight years. 5,589 career rushing yards, still the most in school history. And now he is the president of the Ohio State Alumni Association. Great player, an even better human being. But now as a sophomore, Chris Wells has passed Archie Griffin for the most yards in a single season. Well, a flag again will go against Ohio State and will back them up 15 more yards.
There appeared to be a personal foul. Looked like it was Steve Raring, number 71, working against number 48, middle linebacker Derry Beckwith, and Raring was flagged on the play, setting back Ohio State.
Beckman throws to a wide open receiver, Brandon Sane, and he's all the way to the 20-yard line.
It's a nice gain because it brings up a manageable 3rd down play for Ohio State. But this is a play that could have broken even bigger if Todd Beckman doesn't stumble and isn't bothered in the pocket. If he could have gotten the ball off quicker, they could have had an even bigger play. Look at the All-American safety, Craig Stelz, holding his right arm, his right wrist. Obviously not a good sign for LSU. And if you're Ohio State's coaches in the box, you're taking a look at that and maybe trying to find a way to isolate your guy on Craig Stelz.
3rd and 3, empty backfield. Beckman lofts it to the end zone. Touchdown, Robisky. No! They say it sprung loose. It looked like he had it momentarily. And then that ball came out of there. And Stelz is still in a great deal of pain.
And it hurt them in coverage because of his pain. He was late getting to an assignment, and it ended up one-on-one. He was the deep safety on this play. Not able to come over and help out Shevish Jackson on the short side, and now they're attending to him out on the field.
Well, what an outstanding play by Jackson. That ball was in the midst of Robisky, and he knocked it loose. We'll be back. Our aerial coverage from New Orleans brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. 4th down and 3, 11 minutes to play until halftime, and Ohio State sending Ryan Pretorius to the field, a 37-yard field goal try.
If I'm LSU, I'm playing alert here on defense, watching for the fake.
No fake, and it's blocked by LSU. Beckwith got it at the 35. It looked like Jean-Francois got a paw on the football.
It's the 4th block this year of a Pretorius kick. And Ricky Jean-Francois, number 90, barrels through, knocks over Ben Person, number 63, and gets his right paw up in the air and swats it away. He gets the leverage on Person, knocks him back into the backfield, and bats the field goal down. Now you see why they were so happy to get Ricky Jean-Francois back on the team at the end of the year. His first game, the SEC title game this season.
Clearly the momentum is swung to the Bengal Tigers. And all the way out to the 48-yard line, it's Jacob Hester, a pickup of 15. Let's send it downstairs to Chris Myers.
Tom, of the LSU sideline players admitted they were a little jittery to start with things. They've calmed down. Their coach is playing as much as psychologists as anything. No real adjustments, just stay in your lanes. In fact, LSU players have said that they've given us their best shot. Now we'll give them ours. We'll have an update on Eric Stelz's injury in just a moment.
The offensive line is really starting to move the defensive front of Ohio State.
They run the option. Golston doesn't take the bait, but had no help behind him. And the pitch goes to Richard Murphy, and that's a gain of nearly 9. Let's take a look at the Fox jumper scope, the last touchdown.
Unbalanced line back to the backside, but you got a bunch out 4, including an offensive line of scrimmage. Kirk Coleman, the safety number 4, is playing that side because of the numbers, and he does now realize Richard Dixon backside is an eligible receiver. Easy pitch and catch for the touchdown after a tremendous formation sent in by Gary Croton, their offensive coordinator.
2nd and about 1.5 yards at the Ohio State 45. Play fake to Keelan Williams, lobbing down the sideline. Incomplete. Malcolm Jenkins, number 2, step for step with Demetrius Byrd, number 2, and Larry Grant put a hit on Mr. Flynn.
And if Larry Grant does not get in there and disrupt the timing of that play, LSU has something going. They decided to take a shot. Good field position, play action, trying to get deep, but Larry Grant got in the face of Matt Flynn, unable to keep his feet clean, step into the throw, and give it his best shot. Nice job by Larry Grant on defense for Ohio State.
Hester this time will come off in the slot to the left. On 3rd and less than 2, Flynn a short drop, and there's a tight end. This time it's Singer inside the 30 to the 28. They're saying the ground caused the fumble. That is a first down for LSU.
When I talked with Gary Croton before this game, what he talked about was the idea of playing against the zone blitz style. Watch James Laurinaitis, number 33, in the middle. See, they're going to key him. As he moves to the flat, they just go into the hole he vacated. And when you have zone blitzes and you have to move people to cover holes, oftentimes your tight end or your inside receiver becomes a primary guy. You've got to get the ball to him early in the hole. That's exactly what Matt Flynn did.
1st and 10 Tigers from the 26. Quarterback keeper for Flynn. And coming off that shoulder injury, you wonder how many of those attempts they want him to have tonight.
See, they want the quarterback run game in to try and even up numbers and make Ohio State become a little more balanced on defense. make them wary about blitzing and going after the quarterback. But the better guy to run those plays is Ryan Parlow. Bigger, stronger, thicker guy. Matt Flynn is capable, but if Matt Flynn's going to get you yardage on a play, Ryan Parlow will probably get you a few yards more on the same play.
Ohio State jumped in front 10-0. 10 unanswered points for LSU, and now they're banging on the door after blocking an Ohio State field goal attempt a moment ago. They pitch it to Holiday, cuts it back the other way, and Shekwa trips him up at the 16, very close to a first down.
This is what spreading out a defense does for you, because now Vernon Golston has either take the pitch man or the quarterback. He takes quarterback, and then Trendon Holiday just navigates his way through the Ohio State defense to put them in position on 3rd and short. A tremendous run on the cutback, but it's versus man coverage. Hard to account for everyone if you're Ohio State on defense. And of course, who's back there? Hester, number 18.
Flynn on the keeper to the 15. That is a first down for LSU. Enormous swings emotionally in this game. A couple of early punches landed by Ohio State to get out in front. LSU comes up with a stop after very bad field position on a 3rd try. Kicks a field goal, ties the game after a second lengthy drive, and now they block a field goal attempt and a march inside the 20.
And LSU's offensive line starting to take control of the game here in this position during this quarter, as well as Gary Croton's formations limiting what Ohio State can do to attack defensively.
Batted down by Grant on a first down pass attempt. 2nd and 10.
How about Larry Grant? We've talked about James Laurinaitis. Watch Grant, number 6 on the pass rush here. We talked about Laurinaitis. We talked about Freeman. Grant in the face of Flynn. No one there to block him. Bats the ball away. We've seen him put great pressure on Matt Flynn on this drive, create an incompletion, and this one he knocks away for a 2nd incompletion. This is the 4th straight national championship game Larry Grant's playing in, 2 in junior college, and now 2 BCS championship games. He's 0-3, desperately wants a win.
Play clock down to 2-1. They just do get it off. Flynn to keep it, and he's to the 10-yard line. 3rd and 5 for the Tigers upcoming. And coming up on the Southwest halftime show, Chris Rose, Jimmy Johnson, Eddie George, Urban Meyer will recap the opening half. The All-State Alumni Kicker Challenge will take place. And we'll get a look at the Ohio State and LSU marching band coming your way on the Southwest Airlines halftime show.
How about LSU's huddle? They huddle up pretty much right on the ball, almost telling Ohio State we can turn around and attack anytime we want to, so you better be sharp with your substitutions. Spreading them out yet again, Tom. Try and create man coverage.
Flynn rolling left, lofts it to the end zone. Touchdown, LaFell. LaFell, his 4th touchdown reception of the season. Point after by Colt David is good. 17 unanswered points for the LSU Tigers. Back-to-back-to-back outstanding drives. Capped off by the touchdown and a 7-point LSU lead. You're watching the All-State BCS National Championship on Fox.
Welcome back. Matt Flynn just completed his 2nd touchdown pass of the night, and he missed the SEC championship game with a bad shoulder. But anyone who knows the toughness of Matt Flynn did not expect him to miss this ball game. In high school, he played all the way through the state semifinals on a broken foot, aided by the blocking of Saron Black, his teammate here at LSU.
LSU its first lead of the night. Goday's kick will be fielded by Ray Small at the 10-yard line. And still on his feet, crossing the 30 out to the 31.
Two touchdown passes on the night by Matt Flynn. The first one, very easy. Pitch and catch. The formation caught them. But the last one I was really impressed with. Moving to his left on the run, throws against his body. A perfect strike to Brandon LaFell, breaking into the back part of the end zone for the touchdown. Nice touch by Matt Flynn. And any questions about his shoulder should now have been answered.
And you get the feeling this all of a sudden becomes a very important drive offensively for Ohio State.
Agreed.
Chris Wells met at the line of scrimmage by Glenn Dorsey, and some talking going on. Beckwith and Rearing getting tangled up.
Watch Dorsey, number 72. He's the big guy going to come inside and make the play, but he gets help because Marlon Favorite, number 99, clogs things up in the middle, allows Dorsey to come behind the block, fold behind the play, and make the tackle. You don't want to get number 72 emotionally involved in the game as well as physically. The rest of the defense feeds off of him.
Greg Stelz has not come back on the field defensively for LSU. Harry Coleman, 24, replaces him in the secondary. Beckman to throw. Incomplete. He had an eye on Hartline. And a flag comes in. There's a lot of jawing going on between the Ohio State offensive line and the defensive line of LSU.
Well, the push is really coming from the defensive line of LSU at this point of the ball game. They've really started to move the line of scrimmage backwards against Ohio State's front after Ohio State had plenty of success early in the game. Watch now for LSU to lock up man for man against the receivers and try and use that big defensive front against Todd Beckman.
Brandon Sane in motion, and they're coming after Beckman, who lofts it to the far side, and it is intercepted by Shevis Jackson to the 30, the 25, and run out of bounds.
LSU doesn't believe Ohio State can hurt them out wide with their receivers, so they safety blitz. Bo Pelini dials it up, man for man in the coverage, and Harry Coleman, Shevis Jackson, the all-conference corner, with a great pick. Harry Coleman provided the pressure with the safety blitz that forced Beckman to unload the football.
And that's Coleman, who just came in on this series for the injured All-American Craig Stelz.
He's also the same Harry Coleman who recovered the fumble of Chad Jones deep in their territory after a punt that saved LSU earlier this game.
Well, now LSU trying to add to a 7-point lead. Flynn, good protection, steps up, delivers a strike to the 15-yard line. The catch made by Demetrius Byrd. Let's check in downstairs with Chris Myers.
Tommy, Eric Stelz been taken to the locker room. Officially, they're calling it a stinger. They did check him for a concussion. Worked on his right shoulder. Craig Stelz said, "I'm a senior. I don't want to miss this no matter what." The trainer said, "Well, if we can get you all right, you'll get back in there." But right now, they're checking him in the locker room. Officially, it's a stinger. His shoulder bothering him. He was in pain when he went in there.
Chris, thank you very much. A gain of 8.
Playbook wide open on 2nd and short here.
Flynn rolls, looks back the other way. Wide open is Dixon to the 5 and to the 1-yard line. Well, this #1 ranked Ohio State defense right now being toyed with by the LSU offense.
But Gary Croton has them so much on the run. What he does now is he hits them with misdirection. Earlier, he hit him with the unbalanced line and had Dixon on the backside and as an eligible receiver. This time, it was a throwback with the tight end crossing from right to left on a shallow cross. They find him again before Coleman tackles him inside the 1.
They hand it on 1st down, and leaping into the air is Hester, and he is chopped down by Laurinaitis. 2nd and goal. Well, we talked about Ohio State in the top 3 in every major category. And so far, they've already allowed 17 points, 197 total yards. They only give up 225 per game on average.
And look at the third downs, 7 of 9. This is a team that for the year on third down is only giving up 31%.
Hester denied the end zone for a second straight try, met head on by Dexter Larimore.
Not much that you can, get on Gary Croton about tonight in play calling. But if I've got Jacob Hester in that situation, rather than run him from the fullback spot where he doesn't gain the momentum, get a guy in front of him, get Sean Jordan, get Quinn Johnson, the normal fullbacks, let those guys hammer out a hole and let Hester follow in behind him. I'd have him at tailback, not fullback.
Ohio State allowed just 2 rushing touchdowns the entire season. That's the lowest in the FBS going back 12 years in college football. But right now they have their hands full with this LSU offense.
I think this is 4-down territory here for LSU. If they don't lose yardage on this play, look for Hester or the play fake and find a tight end.
Going to hand it to Hester, and he is met at the goal line. No signal given yet, and now a touchdown for LSU.
He got in on sheer second effort there. The one thing about Jacob Hester, hard to knock him backwards. Watch the first effort, stymied at the line of scrimmage. Right there, he's met. Looks like Laurinaitis, but then as he turns, watch him wiggle and move his body and turn and fall and stay with it. And now he falls right on the goal line. Touchdown, LSU.
Point after attempt by Colt David. Good snap, good hold, good kick. 24 unanswered points from the LSU Tigers, and they lead by 14, 24-10, or 16 to play until halftime. After a 10-0 lead for Ohio State, 24 consecutive points for the LSU Tigers.
I think it's going to be very important on this drive for Ohio State to not get away from what they came into the game wanting to do. Hit some short passes to try and open things up, still run the football with Beanie Wells, because if they all of a sudden abandon that now at 24-10, you're handing Bo Pelini a blank slate to dial up his blitzes and mixed up coverages and get after the quarterback. And Todd Beckman's not exactly mobile in the pocket.
Small from his own 11-yard line, bobbles it once, picks it cleanly, and tries to go to the left and turn the corner and is denied. We talked so much already tonight about Jacob Hester. What do his teammates think about him?
I think he's just one of those old school football players. He can play any position. If we asked him to play linebacker, he could. If we asked him to play safety, he could. It's just one of those things that he just has a knack for the game. Just has a knack for seeing the field and just knows what to do. And he's just one of those guys that is just a solid rock on the team. You can count on him for anything.
And what an even better young man.
We had a blast meeting with him. And he's such a great football player. His wife allows him to keep a bust of Elvis in the house.
Beckman to throw on first down, and nearly intercepted. Was the catch made? No. A tip ball. Hartline came down with a football, but it appeared to be out of bounds. Already an interception a moment ago by Beckman, leading to the touchdown.
Two deep coverage from LSU. The safety over the top, but the corner, Jonathan Zenon, number 19, had responsibility for underneath coverage. He actually read the play and dropped back, fell back into the coverage to get a hand on the football and help cause the incompletion. Terrific read by Jonathan Zenon from the corner position.
And still no return from the All-American safety, Craig Stelz. They pitch it to Wells on a short field, and he picks up maybe 2.
And now you're on 3rd and 8 territory. You're in Bo Pelini land right now. The defensive coordinator for LSU. He's going to dial up something big here. I think he feels like his corners can really lock up, and he'll get after them.
For amazing pictures provided by the DLP Amazing Picture Cam. DLP, the official HD TV of the BCS on Fox. It's amazing. It's the mirrors.
Last time he dialed up a safety blitz with number 24, Harry Coleman. I expect something similar here. Someone's going to get after the quarterback.
They're coming after Beckman, who throws to Hartline. He turns the corner, and that's good enough for an Ohio State first down, and boy, do the Buckeyes need that.
It's an overload blitz from the backside of Todd Beckman from his blind side. He showed a nice amount of poise, staying in the pocket. He knew the pressure was there and stepped into the throw and delivered it accurately to Hartline, who made the catch and turned upfield for a key first down for Ohio State.
Beckman, through the first 10 games of the season, he threw 23 touchdown passes and only 8 interceptions. The final 2 games of the year, without a touchdown pass, was picked off 4 times.
Now, the game at Michigan was abysmal weather. I give him a little bit of a free pass there, but Illinois was not effective at all.
And around from Hartline, and he's tripped up out to the 39-yard line. A first down gain of 5 for Brian Hartline, the lanky sophomore out of North Canton, Ohio.
Brian Hartline, the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award, Ohio State University honoree. Each team in the Big Ten has an honoree. But don't let that fool you. He has a lot of toughness and grit about him. Gets that from his mom, he says, who is really the driving force behind his career. Has a brother who plays football at the University of Kentucky. He's a quarterback. You think those two didn't talk a lot about Big Ten versus SEC, speed versus strength? Who's the superior conference?
Beckman in trouble. Down he goes. The ball is loose. It looks like Ohio State. Steve Raring covered it up all the way back at the 30-yard line. Clock continuing to run to 2:10.
Remember early in the game where they were able to sneak Brandon Sane out of the backfield, and they were going to run and they ran the wheel route with him, and they had a big play? This time that route was taken away downfield. Great coverage in the secondary made him hold the football. So here comes Tyson Jackson, number 93, with a big hit and knocks the ball free. Anytime you hold the ball against LSU, there's usually a collision at the quarterback.
3rd down and 13.
Look how they're bunched up in there showing the blitz.
Slant to Hartline, but nowhere near first down yardage. It is a catch out to the 37-yard line, but Ohio State will have to punt it away.
See, right now, Bo Pelini, the defensive coordinator for LSU, has no belief that Ohio State can really sting him outside with their receivers. He feels like his corners and his slot coverage guy will lock up anyone that Ohio State has. Thus, he's able to get after the quarterback in a big way.
Told you, Bo Pelini grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. Played at Ohio State from 1987 to 1990 as a free safety. In fact, was a Buckeye team captain his senior year. Final timeout used by LSU. We'll be right back. Under a minute to play here in the opening half. LSU in front 24-10. Ohio State to punt it away. A.J. Trapasso will send Jones back inside the 5 and into the end zone. So with 49 ticks to play until halftime, LSU will get it back with no timeouts remaining. Over the weekend, we turn our attention to the NFL on Fox. Divisional playoff action. Saturday, Seattle at Lambeau Field, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. And then on Sunday, the Giants and the Cowboys from Big D. Sunday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.
Looks like a heck of a matchup, doesn't it? Rematch of earlier this season. But the way the Giants played this past Sunday gives a lot of people hope, thinking that they can really challenge Dallas in that game.
Well, now with under a minute and no more timeouts, does LSU try to go down the field and tack on?
They want to see what they get on the first play. Since they didn't get much there, I think they're just going to go ahead and tuck it in and take it to the half, up 24-10, and feeling good about how they played.
Coming up on the Southwest Halftime Show, Chris, Jimmy, Eddie George, Urban Meyer will recap this opening half. We'll have the All-State Alumni Kicker Challenge on the field. Get a look at both the LSU and Ohio State marching band.
Tom, as we head towards the half, about early in the second quarter, the lines of LSU started to take charge in this game, offense and defense, and that's really been the tale.
What an amazing turn of events after that early 10-0 Ohio State lead. 24 unanswered points against Ohio State's #1 ranked defense. So we've reached the intermission of this All-State BCS National Championship game. The LSU Tigers in front, 24-10.
Welcome to the Southwest Airlines Halftime Show on Fox.
LSU leads Ohio State 24-10. First half analysis from Jimmy Johnson, Urban Meyer, and Eddie George in just a bit. But first, give a listen to the best damn band in the land from Ohio State. When we come back, one of these two schools will earn a $100,000 scholarship for their schools. The All-State Alumni Kicking Challenge is next.
Welcome back to the Southwest Airlines Halftime Show on Fox.
This is Chris Rose, LSU, leading Ohio State 24-10 in the All-State BCS National Championship game. First half analysis coming up in just a bit, but first, it's time for the All-State Alumni Kicking Challenge. For that, we send it down to the field and Chris Myers.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. To those of you watching on Fox and those of you listening and watching here in the Louisiana Superdome, it's the All-State Alumni Kicker Challenge. All-State will donate $100,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of either Ohio State or LSU, depending upon which kicker who once went to that school comes through. We have Josh Houston from Ohio State. We have David Browndyke, former LSU kicker. All right. If you want to cheer them on, you certainly can. The rules are, okay, 3 kicks each. The total yards of the field goals made. All right. 25,000 goes to the runner-up, and Ohio State won the toss. That means Josh Houston will get the first try, and officially this will be a 43-yard field goal. And Ohio State leads. Now for LSU, David Browndyke, also from the 43-yard line to tie. And that is no good. Off to the right for David Browndyke. Ohio State with the advantage. 2 more kicks. Browndyke can still make up yardage. A 40-yard attempt here. And it is no good. So Browndyke quickly back in it. He needs a 43-yard to tie. They each have 1 more kick remaining. Browndyke, 43 yards to tie. And that is going to be just good.
Talk about that, Josh.
So we are tied. 1 kick each. No ties allowed. So the distance here, if it is good, Browndyke representing LSU will have to kick further. A 45 for Ohio State and Josh Houston. And the kick is good. So David Browndyke representing LSU in the All-State Alumni Kicker Challenge will kick from 46 yards. If it's good, 100,000 for LSU. If not, it goes to Ohio State. Good luck, David. The kick sails away. Ohio State and Josh Houston received the $100,000, the General Scholarship Fund, and $25,000 goes to LSU. Gentlemen, thank you very much. A thought?
Thanks, had a blast. That was fun. Had a great time. All-State has put on a first-class presentation.
We thank Allstate, and do we have the check handy? I want to make sure you don't leave empty-handed. A $100,000 check to the General Scholarship Fund for Ohio State. Thanks for playing along, and enjoy the second half. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Josh Houston representing Ohio State. David Browndyke representing LSU. Thanks for playing.
Thank you.
All right. Allstate Alumni Kicker Challenge. First half analysis from the BCS Allstate Sugar Bowl in New Orleans in a moment.
Welcome back to the Southwest Airlines Halftime Show on Fox.
Chris Rose back with you here in New Orleans, where LSU leads Ohio State 24-10 at halftime. Time right now for you to listen to the Golden Band from Tigerland.
Patriotic tribute as we feature next the ladies of the LSU Color Guard and our vivacious LSU Golden Girls.
Well, this sounds good to LSU fans. Tigers 24, Buckeyes 10 at the half. Eddie George, Urban Meyer, Jimmy Johnson back to break it all down right after this.
Welcome back to the Southwest Airlines halftime show on Fox.
Well, the Buckeyes started with a 10-0 lead. Since then, it has been all Tigers. 24-10, your halftime score here at the All-State BCS National Championship game. Welcome back to the Southwest Airlines halftime show. Chris Rose, Eddie George, Urban Meyer, Jimmy Johnson. And I think Ohio State fans have seen this story once before. Let's show you the first half highlights from here at the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. It started off great for Eddie's Buckeyes as Beanie Wells ups the gut on the first drive, 65 yards. Longest run in BCS championship game history. It was 10-0, but then LSU coming back, Matt Flynn, Richard Dixon, and then a block of a field goal. That was a huge momentum swinger. LSU taking advantage. Flynn, who had a very solid first half. Brandon LaFell, the sophomore, for the touchdown. And then Todd Beckman had a shot, but he had it picked off. Devis Jackson, stride for stride. And LSU, the defense leads to this. Jacob Hester just plowing in. That is a true second effort getting past the Butkus Award winner, James Laurinaitis. It is 24-10, and this is a great omen for LSU fans because every team leading at halftime has gone on to win the BCS National Championship game. That's bad news for your Buckeyes, Eddie George, if you're paying attention. Jimmy, what is LSU doing so well here in the first half?
I think the big thing, Chris, because of the level of competition in the Southeastern Conference, LSU, when they got down 10-0, they didn't panic. They stayed with their game plan and scored 24 unanswered points. As we anticipated, Ohio State was going to come with a pressure package and man-to-man coverage, which they didn't do last year against you, Urban. The man-to-man coverage, though, LSU handled it very well. In fact, the last touchdown pass was against man-to-man.
Urban, what are you seeing out there?
Well, I see LSU's controlling the game. They're 8 of 10 on third downs, and they've held the ball for 17 minutes against, you got to keep it out of Wells' hands. And they've done a very good job of doing that.
Ohio State made a couple of mistakes out there. A couple of personal foul penalties on LSU's first touchdown drive, and then a huge momentum swing on special teams.
Yeah, it was a big momentum swing. I mean, I was down there on the sidelines, and once they blocked the field goal.
The fourth one this year.
Yeah, and that's where the momentum shifted. You can feel the energy just sucked out of Ohio State shortly thereafter, and that's when everything just started to come apart for Ohio State.
So right now it is 24-10, LSU with the lead over Ohio State. Now, Chris Myers is down on the field with two very interested alumni. Chris?
Thanks, Chris. Down on the field with former LSU Tiger #1 pick of the NFL draft, Jamarcus Russell, and Heisman Trophy winner, former Buckeye Troy Smith. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. First of all, I'll start with you. How about those Tigers in the first half?
It's been a good half. Just trying not to change anything. And keep doing what they're doing. And like I said, I knew it was going to be a fight out from the beginning. But just keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything.
All right, Troy, having gone through what you went through last year in this game, how can the Buckeyes respond?
We got to run the ball. I think we don't need to stray away from, our definitely positive running back that we got going on in Beanie Wells, and we got to stay on the ground. We got to run it.
Do you think there's a big difference between the speed of the SEC and the Big Ten?
He showed you that on the second, third play of the game. There's no difference. You've seen him on the touchdown run.
How about that? Big difference between the SEC and Big Ten?
It's a big difference. But there's a lot of players that can play in both. So there's a lot of talented, gifted guys in the world, thanks to God. So the only difference is the different color uniform you wear.
LSU will hold on, do you think?
They should, and I really think they will.
You think Ohio State can come back?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. We just got to keep running.
How about what he's wearing here? What is this?
That represents who he is. I think it's an incredible representation of Alabama.
Okay. All right, Chris, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. One other college football note. 6 days ago, June Jones was coaching Hawaii in this very building at the All-State Sugar Bowl, and he must have liked the mainland because Jones is now jumping ship, leaving the Warriors for SMU. According to his agent, Jones gets a 5-year deal worth around $10 million. Good work if you can find it. All right, guys, let's look ahead now to the second half. Jimmy Johnson, what's going to happen out there, buddy?
Well, first of all, LSU, no need to get cute. You've got the crowd and you've got the advantage. Go ahead and stick to your game plan. Ohio State, you got to be a little bit more wide open offensively, but stay away from the man coverage defensively because LSU's burning you on the man-to-man.
Urban, looking to the crystal ball. What's happening?
Well, I think the first drive of the second half is critical. If you can go up by 3 scores, that's a big momentum shift that could demoralize Ohio State. So this is going to be a critical first drive of the second half.
Eddie, put on your Jim Tressel hat.
Hey, I'm Jim Tressel. I tell my defense they got to get out there, get a 3-and-out, get Beanie Wells back into the run game, and our receivers have got to come off of that press that LSU defensive backs are forcing them into.
You know, you're allowed to smile. It's okay.
Hey, it's like deja vu. It's like, am I in Arizona playing against? This feels the same way right now for Ohio State.
Urban, does LSU? They don't have a gator chop. What do they have? Because we're going to have to make Eddie do it if he
I'm
loses.
sure there's something tiger around here.
Something tiger.
That done, huh?
We're going to make you
do the gator chop.
Listen, I think we have a few LSU fans out here who could probably give Eddie a little bit of what to do. You better get back there and help him out. Do you have any eligibility left?
No.
I didn't think so. All right, guys, it is time right now for the results of the FedEx air and ground poll question. Which team had the strongest air and ground game this season? Well, according to you, the fans, it is West Virginia, getting almost 75% of the vote. And remember, FedEx, go air, go ground, go football. I guess Urban didn't vote enough. His team finished second in that poll. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, guys, got a lot more coming your way here from the All-State BCS National Championship game.
Set for the second half to begin. LSU in front in the All-State BCS National Championship game. Tom Brenneman back with Charles Davis. We know about Ohio State 0-8 against the SEC in bowl games. What do they have to do here to try and change that number?
Well, number one, they've got to survive the first possession on defense because LSU scored the last 24 straight. Number two, they've got to reestablish control of the offensive line. They had it early. They were springing their running back Chris Wells, but that shifted in the second quarter, and LSU has had the advantage ever since.
You know, we talked a lot about it last year, how they fell behind, got away from the running game, and were forced to throw. And the Gators just came after and got Troy Smith, it seemed like, just about every single snap, but they never got back to that running game.
And this Ohio State team is not equipped to throw the ball on every down in the second half. They're not built that way. Wide receivers have to find a way to make plays on the perimeter and defeat the one-on-one coverage Bo Pelini is going to show them.
LSU to get the football to begin the second half. Ohio State, if you're just joining us, jumped in front in this game 10-0. They have given up 24 points since without an answer. Trendon Holiday will take it in. Let's send it downstairs to Chris Myers.
Thanks, Tom. I spoke with both coaches at halftime. A very calm Jim Tressel reminded his team that we got out to the lead. We're capable. We have to get back to basics. Run the football. Don't panic. That was his message to the Buckeyes. Les Miles, very fired up, high-fiving Dorsey on his way out of the tunnel. Said, we're not going to lay back. They're a very good football team. We have to pour it on. Let's go back up to Tom and Charles.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. The LSU offense comes out onto the field, and Jim Tressel urging his defense for an early stop.
They need one desperately here. The way LSU took charge in the second quarter, if they go through the Ohio State defense again, that'd be very, very difficult for Ohio State to handle.
Early do set in motion. They pitch it to Keel, and Williams cuts it back to the inside. A big gainer on first down of nearly 10.
Coaches tell you that tight ends in your lineup have to control the line of scrimmage with their blocking at the point of attack if you want to run the football. Keith Zinger on that play, number 89 for LSU, did exactly that set the corner, and allowed Keelan Williams to cut inside for a first down.
One play, one first down for LSU. And now an empty backfield for Flynn out of the shotgun. Good protection across the middle. A one-handed catch made by Brandon LaFell. Coverage and the tackle by James Laurinaitis.
About that catch by LaFell, known as drops in the middle of the season. Not tonight. We look at the numbers, Tom. Ohio State with the big run from Chris Wells of 65 yards. They lead the rush yardage. Passing yardage is close. Total yards favors Ohio State. But look at time of possession. LSU had it, and they really got after him in the second quarter. And now Ryan Perrilloux back in the ball game at quarterback. Remember, run game is his strongest attribute.
He only played one play in the first half. It was an option. This time he fakes the pitch and is very close to another first down. Kurt Coleman came up to make the stop, and back to the sideline goes Perrilloux, who got the start in the SEC championship game against Tennessee for the injured Matt Flynn. And a big night for Perrilloux. Hit on 20 of 30, 243 yards and a touchdown. But defense, the difference. Jonathan Zenon's fourth quarter interception taken into the end zone. Perrilloux was voted the MVP of the game. 21-14, an SEC title for Les Miles. Third and a yard. They're going to give it to Hester. And he has a first down. That's almost like money in the bank.
That carry, that formation, that setup, and look at what, watch LSU. It looks like they're trying to line up quickly for a quick snap here. You got the bunch formation out wide again. You got four in the bunch. This time there's no offensive linemen. Those are all receivers or backs.
Receiver screen to early Doucette. And that's a pickup of 7. Well, if you're Jim Haycock, how in the world are you keeping up with this offense?
You're really struggling because your strength is playing zone. They like to have their safeties involved in run support playing forward. The problem is Gary Croton has spread them out with the 4 and 5 receiver looks, which almost forces you out of the zone coverage and into more of a matchup man-to-man. Very difficult then to execute what you like to do on defense. They're taking them out of their game plan.
Holiday takes a pitch, forced back to the inside, and is very close to another first down.
Trendon Holiday doesn't get very many carries, but when he's on the field, see him number 8 dotting the I. Jacob Hester now moves to fullback, fakes one way, pitches it out. And look at the move. Vernon Golston's in great position, but Trendon Holiday's quicks allows him to elude Golston and get inside for yardage. How about this? 3 lost fumbles all year long for LSU. And the running backs, 1. And it was Trendon Holiday in the SEC championship game when he got hurt. And the funny part is the coaches of those positions, Larry Porter, that coach, doesn't want to claim. He said he's more of a receiver.
He's right.
And then we look at it, and he's had more carries than receptions, so he's got to go on that one. But all the same, Les Miles loves to have Trendon Holiday in the game. Gives him a nice changeup. Now it's 3rd and short. What Jimmy Johnson tells at the half, don't get cute, LSU. Keep executing your game plan. To me, that's Jacob Hester dotting the I and barreling straight at Ohio State.
Flynn finds a little crease and is into Ohio State territory, a first down.
Second time we've seen that formation from LSU where Matt Flynn just dives in and tries to find a little crease. Joseph Barksdale, a backup tackle, comes into the game in that situation. It acts as an additional fullback to create an opportunity for the quarterback. Nice job by Flynn seeing where the hole was before he jumped into it. Holiday back there, tailback again.
And they pitch it to him. And he is clotheslined by Larry Grant and thrown down after a gain of, we'll call it 2.
Tom, last year in this ball game, Ohio State obviously did not have much success defensively, but I thought Vernon Golston played the best overall game for them. tonight, it appears to be Larry Grant carrying the mantle for Ohio State, making as many plays as he possibly can, and the guy showing up when necessary. He's off the field now, but he's made some nice plays this evening.
4 receiver set. Hester, the lone back. Flynn out of the shotgun on 2nd down and 8. Opening drive of the second half for LSU. Under pressure, and Flynn will throw it away. And the OSU sideline screaming intentional grounding in their right.
He was not out of the tackle box.
Intentional grounding, 15 on the offense. Penalty has lost him down at the spot of the foul. 3rd down.
Well, Matt Flynn has not made many mistakes, but that's a mistake.
But watch the pressure from number 50, Vernon Golston, bottom of your screen, 50 in red. Carnell Stewart tries to chip him. Jacob Hester tries to pick him up, but that pressure forced Flynn to unload the ball, and Flynn was not outside the tackle box. You know, you have that extension from tackle to tackle. If you're in that box, you can't ground the ball legally. If you get outside of it, as long as the ball passes the line of scrimmage, you can ground the ball legally with no penalty.
That is the first penalty thrown against LSU tonight, a team which had the most penalties in the Southeastern Conference during the regular season. And now LSU going to spend a timeout on 3rd and long. A big play for Ohio State on defense coming up. Aerial coverage brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. Take a look at our impact players of the game, brought to you by Taco Bell. Matt Flynn, nearly perfect. 2 touchdowns without a turnover. Chris Wells, only 9 carries, 119 yards. One of them a 65-yard touchdown run. But he watches as his defense needs to make a play. 3rd and 23. Flynn rolls and just throws it right into the ground under heavy pressure from Marcus Freeman. So, after a couple of first downs to begin this drive, Ohio State with a stop.
I like what Jim Haycock did on that last play. He played 2 deep zone, 5 under, rushed 4, and used Marcus Freeman, number 1, as a spy on Flynn to make sure he didn't just dart up into the middle and try and gain yardage. At the end of the play, Freeman came up and forced the incompletion. That was big. Sorry, Tom.
To punt it from his own 25, and Ray Small, as it was nearly blocked, and a flag comes down. This will be roughing the kicker. Personal foul, the 4th of the game against Ohio State.
15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And that is an automatic 1st down. Wow.
In a sense, the surprise would be rushing him here because you just want football at this stage. And then the second thing is, how did he miss the football when he went to block it? You're taught to go in front of the punter at an angle so that you get ball, and if you miss ball, you miss the punter. But instead, number 38, Austin Spittler, is straight ahead on the punter. So even if he missed him, he was taking out the punter. End result, 1st down, LSU, and a drive that appeared to be stopped has now been restarted.
Holy Moses. So now the defense right back on the field after thinking it had done its job. A gain of 1 on the pitch to Hester, and now flags come in as there's some jawing going on.
Offense, 97, defense.
Looks like that's going against Cameron Hayward, number 97. He got into it at the end of the play. He picks up another personal foul. Ohio State needs something positive to happen, but right now they have to fight the loss of poise. A bad play results in another bad play for Ohio State. Defense frustrated, goes back on the field, picks up another personal foul.
Well, you may remember when LSU went down the field on its drive to score for the first time on a field goal, they were aided by a pair of personal fouls.
You mentioned already, Tom, the most penalized team coming into this game was LSU. But also, let's remember last year, Florida was either number 1 or number 2 in the NCAA in penalties last year in terms of most penalties, and still won a national championship. Pistol formation again.
Hester slips 1 tackle, breaks another, still on his feet, down to the 20-yard line. More on Jacob Hester. Let's send it downstairs to Chris Myers.
Tom Jacob Hester, a Louisiana native, playing the 11th time in the Superdome through high school. He's now known John David Booty from USC since the 6th grade. He listens to Elvis before every game on his headset. The song is If I Can Dream. He said, I know it's a slow song, but it inspires me. And he is related to Terry Bradshaw. Yes, it was Hester's grandmother who married Terry's uncle. And Jacob told me it was Uncle Duck, even though Bradshaw doesn't want to admit it.
Flynn to throw, and the screen is set up to Charles Scott. Breaking defenders inside the 5, down to the 4.
They just keep coming at you in waves. You think you've got one guy dialed up. Here comes Charles Scott, the third tailback. Watch number 32 to your right. It's just a delay route inside. Sneaks back inside and gets the offensive lineman to give him a little crease downfield. And then another terrific stiff arm as he slips away from Malcolm Jenkins, number 2, one of the better tackling cornerbacks in the country, to gain the additional yardage.
First and goal, LSU.
Right now, Gary Croton can pick a guy, and that guy's going to make a play for him.
Play fake one way. Flynn rolls, dumps it off to early Doucette. And he's still on his feet and dances into the end zone. Missed tackles by Anderson, Russell, and Donald Washington. What a devastating blow. After you had him stopped, roughing the kicker gave him an automatic first down, and cap it off with a touchdown.
And add to it a little lack of poise. Cameron Hayward, the freshman, picks up the personal foul, and I think there's a little spirit leaving this Ohio State team. This is a team that we saw during the season didn't miss very many tackles, especially ones not like that. They prided themselves on being good tacklers. On that play, it certainly did not appear to be so early. Doucette with a big move and a touchdown.
Great pictures provided by the DLP Amazing Picture Cam. DLP is the official HD TV of the BCS on Fox. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. Here's a look from a DLP Cam on the touchdown.
I thought for a while that Matt Flynn should have just approached the line of scrimmage, that throwing it early Doucette meant he'd be tackled on the spot, but he missed. He made Kurt Coleman miss and then slipped through Donald Washington. And also number 21, Malcolm Jenkins.
.9:04 to play in the third quarter. LSU in search of its 3rd national championship, 1958, and then here in this building in 2003 under then head coach Nick Saban. Ray Small from the 13, and good kickoff coverage all night tonight for LSU. After what looked to be a stop, LSU forced a punt, a roughing the kicker, and a personal foul against Austin Spittler. Then
Cameron Hayward
getting locked up with the tight end Keith Singer, and then capped off with a touchdown to Doucette.
Early Doucette made 3 Buckeyes miss to get into the end zone. I'd flex 2 after that move
early. 31-10. Chris Wells will carry it out to the 32-yard line. Harry Coleman is still in the game for LSU, their first-team All-American, Thorpe Award finalist, strong safety. Craig Stelz had to leave the game in the opening half.
And how disappointing is that for that young man, because he watched his brother Kevin start at fullback, a former walk-on here for LSU when they won the national title over Oklahoma in January of 2004. He wanted to be on the field full-time to try and earn his own.
Wells in motion. Beckman to throw on second down. And wide open field in front of him. To the 35, the 40, the 45 midfield, and steps out of bounds at the LSU 48-yard line.
We were talking with the staff of Ohio State the other day, Tom, at practice, and one of the things they told us is that Todd Beckman's straight line is faster than Troy Smith. Just that Troy Smith's a lot more elusive. That was a nice run, though, by Todd Beckman.
Let's go downstairs to Chris Myers.
Tom, Stelz is still in the locker room. It's a right strained shoulder. They're icing it. He's just come out to the sideline. He wants to get back into the game. Les Miles said if he gets feeling back on that right side, I'll put him in, but don't count on it.
Wells on first down, runs right in to Ricky Jean-Francois. Francois did not play the entire regular season under a suspension and came back to play his first game in the SEC Championship. There you look at Stelz trying to get that feeling back.
You see how he's gripping his hands together? That's how you tell whether you've really got the feeling. Can you grip the other hand? Can that hand on the side that's numb grip? And until that happens, that's Jack Marucci, his trainer, to Stelz's left, our right, standing next to him. And until he can pass that test, he probably will not get into the football game. Notice LSU staying in base defense, knowing Ohio State will continue to try and run the ball, too.
Beckman rolls, throws to Sane. A catch and maybe a gain of 2. Zeroing in and making a stop, Jonathan Zenon. Beckman is hit on 7 of 14 for 114 yards without a touchdown, 1 interception, which LSU turned into a touchdown.
And now it comes up again for Ohio State. Can their wide receivers win the battles on the perimeter to allow them to pick up a 3rd and long? Chances are you'll see Bo Pelini apply pressure on this snap.
Well split far to the right. And Beckman has to eat it. Boy, he had 2 wide open receivers and did not see either one of them.
That's what the pressure does for you, because now instead of Beckman focusing downfield and finding receivers, he's feeling pressure. So are his eyes downfield to find a receiver? See, they're running man for man with him. LSU feels again, they can't beat us downfield. I'm locked up. Coach, no problem. Go get them up front, guys, and that's exactly what's happening.
Early Doucette has dropped back to his own 10. A.J. Trapasso on to punt it away for Ohio State. We're under 6 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. And LSU leading by 3 scores. Good punt by Trapasso, and they'll spot it at the 11-yard line. So the Bayou Bengals leading 31-10. LSU in front in the All-State BCS National Championship game, 31-10. This Tigers drive begins at the 10. And a misread there between Flynn and Demetrius Byrd. It's one of the few things that has not gone well for LSU on offense tonight.
One of the very few things, and A.J. Trapasso, the punter for Ohio State, has changed field position finally for the Buckeyes, making LSU go the long field. And now on first down with the missed cue, you're bringing up 2nd and long. Finally, Ohio State has the chains in their favor for Jim Haycock, the defensive coordinator. They need to force a turnover, though. They need a big play to energize the Buckeyes team.
Could have been that punt.
That was huge right there.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Hester out across the 15. And they'll spot it at the 16. And it'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it 5.
See, if they have them 2nd and long, and now it's a manageable 3rd down. Power run game. Sean Jordan, number 40, leading Jacob Hester, number 18. Look how they lock up Big Herman Johnson, number 79. Just moves his man just enough to allow Hester to follow Jordan into the hole.
Four receiver set. Hester in the backfield, standing next to Flynn on 3rd down. We'll call it 4. A slant, first down to the tight end, Dixon, out to the 28-yard line.
Gary Croton again spreads out Ohio State and forces James Laurinaitis the All-American linebacker, now to cover the tight end, Richard Dixon, and Dixon beats him inside on a slant for another first down. The spreading of the formations makes guys who ordinarily aren't cover guys have to become cover guys. And obviously you're not playing to your strength when that's happening.
Clock continuing to run, another first down, and they hand it to Hester, who breaks a couple of tackles, and he picks up 2. Second down and 8 for LSU. Clock now under 4:30 in the third. Go back to the touchdown earlier from the Fox jumper scope.
This is the second quarter, the second touchdown pass of the game for Matt Flynn. You have the 2 outside receivers run inside. That's Mitchell, number 86, and Murphy, 26. And then behind it is LaFell running an out route over the top of number 2, Malcolm Jenkins. Looked like a zone blitz, and Jenkins just got beaten to the corner, and a beautiful throw by Flynn, rolling to his left and throwing against his body with touch.
Flynn has been waiting and waiting and waiting.
And waiting.
For this night to play. And an interception by Malcolm Jenkins. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown. No, they're saying he stepped out of bounds at the 11-yard line. But you said it, Charles. They had to have a play to get back in this thing. And that's a play.
And what that does is it energizes the fan base for Ohio State. It brings the bench back into the ball game. LSU looks like they're about to apply the crusher, up 31-10 and controlling the football. And instead, they're handing hope back to Ohio State. Flynn in the shotgun throws the route. His receiver breaks inside. He throws it to the outside. So it was a miscommunication and a great pick by Malcolm Jenkins. Coming right at you now. See where the route was thrown? That was Terrence Tolliver, the freshman, breaking inside. Flynn thinks he's supposed to be outside.
And they thought he was in the end zone, but he stepped out of bounds. They'll spot it at the 11 for Ohio State, trying to get back in it.
And they have to score 6 on this possession.
Chris Wells down to the 6-yard line. Let's see if he indeed stepped out.
Right there.
Good call.
Right there. Excellent call. You see the official right on the spot, eyeballing it on the sideline. That's terrific hustle by the officiating crew. Right on top of the play.
3:20 to play in the third quarter. Ohio State down by 21. But inside the LSU 10.
Yeah, a field goal here is a win for LSU. Has to be 6 for the Buckeyes.
And again, they'll turn and hand it to Chris Wells, and he's inside the 5, and depending on a spot, it might be enough for a first down. He needed to get to the 1, and he's very close to that. Might be about 4 inches short.
To the left side of the line, number 75, Alex Boone, and it looks like they brought number 74, Kirk Barton, over to play guard on that play. And look at the hole they chopped. Leading Beanie Wells and getting some help from Ben Person, number 63.
Third and less than a yard. Wells one more time, and he's denied into the backfield. Ricky Jean-Francois, and now Jim Tressel on 4th down.
Big decision. Big decision. See, my thought process was 4th and short. You go for it. But now at 4th and 5, I'm wondering if you get to 3 and get something positive out of it. I thought anything less would be a win. I guess Jim Tressel's fully committed to going for it here. Yeah, my whole thought process, Tom, was that it was going to be 4th and short, not 4th and 5.
From the 5-yard line for Ohio State, a must conversion. They can get a first down. Beckman throws, and it is a touchdown to Brian Robisky. So on 4th down from the 5, Ohio State into the end zone to make it a 2-touchdown spread.
That's a big league pickup. Because I'll be frank, I did not think at 4th and 5 they were going to be able to get the ball in the end zone against that LSU defense. Gutsy pickup by the Ohio State Buckeyes.
So now Ryan Pretorius for the point after. Out of the hold of John Toma, and it is good. So some life pumped back into this #1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes team. The interception by Jenkins, capped off a touchdown pass. What a catch by Robisky. 31-17 LSU. Todd Beckman, the touchdown throw on 4th down from the 5-yard line to Brian Robisky. And for the first time in what seems like a long while, hope on the Ohio State sideline.
And how about a wide receiver winning a battle on the perimeter against a defensive back from LSU? Having won many of them this evening in critical junctures, they did there.
Tree puts a foot on it, chasing Holiday back to the goal line. And the fastest man in college football out across the 20 and wrapped up at the 28-yard line. I told you 2 national titles in the history of LSU football. We go back to 1958 season, 59 Sugar Bowl, LSU and Clemson. Paul Dietzel, the head coach, led an undefeated Tigers team to New Orleans. Billy Cannon, a 9-yard touchdown pass to Mickey Mangum for the only score of the game. LSU's defense shut him out. 7-0 the final.
Remember the most famous play that year for LSU? Billy Cannon's run on Halloween night against Ole Miss. The punt return for a touchdown that put them into the national championship game.
Well, you don't miss a beat.
Hey, Paul Dietzel, head coach there. We can talk about him all night and his innovations here at LSU. Still felt today.
Flynn will run it on 1st down, and he is hammered by the combination of Marcus Freeman and Malcolm Jenkins.
You feel the momentum? It hasn't shifted, not totally, but Ohio State has a good sense about itself right now. A feeling, as you mentioned, Tom, that they're back in it, that they have an opportunity. A big play early. Matt Flynn hammered again to the ground. Now they're ahead of the chains. And once again, Jim Haycock, the defense coordinator, has to like this 2nd and 10.
3 wide receivers off to the left. Ohio State showing blitz. And they hand it off to Doucette. And he is stopped shy of the 35. 3rd down and 6 coming up. And granted, we have an entire quarter left, but you talked about at least teetering on the brink of a big momentum swing. It would teeter a little more in favor of Ohio State with a 3rd down stop here.
And I can predict safely to you, I believe, if they stop them here and force a punt, there will be no punt block on by Ohio State. They will want the football and nothing more.
That will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Ohio State jumped in front 10-0. Fell behind 31-10. Comes up with an interception and a touchdown. The All-State BCS National Championship game continues after these messages from your local Fox station. Fox Sports crew travels to the BCS Bowl games powered by NetJets with their marquee Jet card. 3rd down, we'll call it 7. LSU with a football at their own 33. Ohio State has closed within 14, but hoping for another stop on defense.
And this is where they've been most effective throwing the ball. 5 wide receivers, which hurts your pass rush because you're only rushing 4 against 5 blockers.
Flynn with time, and he'll have to eat it. Denied the 1st down. Really, you think about it, were it not for the roughing the kicker, that is now 3 straight defensive stops against the LSU offense in this 2nd half. Of course, the roughing the kicker gave him an automatic 1st down, ultimately leading to the LSU score.
Excellent point. And what Jim Haycock has done in the 2nd half with his coverage, he's rushed the 4 against the 5 wide receiver set, but able to get up underneath the receivers quicker with the 2 safeties over the top. Made Matt Flynn eat the football and forced another punt. And I'm sure a return is on now for Ohio State, not a block.
What a punt by Fisher. He has had a great night. And that one is into the end zone. And Ohio State will get it to 20. 2nd 60-yard punt of the game. Well, the Buckeyes with a full quarter to play, hanging in there. Ohio State with a football, 14:09 to play from the All-State BCS National Championship game. LSU in front by 2 touchdowns.
We talked about how important it has been for Ohio State to establish a rhythm on offense, but LSU equally important for them on defense. Their team follows their lead in how the defense plays.
2-yard run by Beanie Wells. Let's send it downstairs to Chris Myers.
Time on the Buckeyes sideline, the heads of those Ohio State players that were down on the bench now much more attentive after the last touchdown, and then the defensive series. Buckeye players stood facing on the bench the Buckeye crowd, wanting them to make noise when LSU's offense was on the field, and leading the charge in between checking offensive plays was Ohio State's Todd Beckman.
Trying to lead the charge offensively and get him back in this. He delivers a strike over the middle of Brian Hartline. That's a first down after the 40-yard line. A gain of 17. Clock stops as they reset the chains at 13:30 to go.
Well done. Well protected. Well thrown. Nice route. And Hartline got the matchup he would like. A starting wide receiver against the free safety in man-to-man coverage. He beat him inside and picked up the first down.
To Wells, he slips to the outside, dances over one tackler, and that's close to a 10-yard pickup for Wells.
Great thing about the great running backs have great vision. Their eyes carry their feet to the hole, and Chris Wells loves to cut back run. And he saw the hole on the backside, danced into it, and picked up a first down for the Buckeyes. Those things are designed that way too. Many times they're blocked, get you moving one way, wall you off on the backside for the back to follow.
It is a first down run, a gain of 10 for Wells. Play action. Beckman looking across the middle. It's caught by Robisky. Another first down to the LSU 37-yard line.
This looks like the Ohio State we saw early in the ball game. 1st and 10, not necessarily a run down for them. But because they've run the ball effectively, it opens things up. So we see Terry Robisky, the father of Brian Robisky. Tom, you alluded to him earlier, former MVP at LSU, MVP of the SEC, now the wide receivers coach for the Miami Dolphins.
And don't forget his mama, Cynthia.
Who has stressed the educational aspect. Brian Robisky, a first-team academic All-American.
Lofted down the sideline with an A on Ray Small, and great coverage out there by Shevis Jackson. Chad Jones blitzing from the safety spot, put a hit on Beckman.
I think that call was similar to a basketball coach feeling like his team is back on its heels a little bit. I almost sensed that LSU thought that this game was fairly well done, kind of shut it down a little bit. And Bo Pelini said, we're going, like a lot of coaches say, okay, we're going to press to get the energy back up in basketball. That blitz was to help get the energy back up for LSU tonight.
2nd down and 10. At the LSU 37-yard line. Play fake to Wells. Beckman dancing around and breaks to the outside and takes a hit. Ball comes loose. He was starting to slide, and right when he went into a slide, he took a major hit. These amazing pictures provided by the DLP Amazing Picture Cam. DLP is the official HD TV of the BCS on Fox. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. Big, big 3rd down.
And the camera picks up the pressure as Todd Beckman sees it. Raheem Alim puts on the pressure, number 84. But that was an ugly end to it. Whoever the baseball coach is at Ohio State, they need to spend some time with Todd Beckman on sliding.
3rd down and 4. Beckman. Down he goes. He was looking initially at Robisky when he was covered. He had a stick in his pocket, so now a 4th down decision. You got to believe they're going, trailing in the 4th quarter by 2 touchdowns.
Especially with this field position. But the coverage, again, so tight that he has nowhere to go with the ball. Jonathan Zenon locks up Brian Robisky. Ray Small can't get away from Shevis Jackson, number 21. The routes that have worked so far is when Ohio State's been able to spread and get matchups with their wide receivers on the safeties. And they get Robisky or Hartline in the same type of formation.
Timeout. Play clock was down to 4. A big one, 4th and 7, coming up for Ohio State. Aerial coverage brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. Still 10:51 to play, but right now, so far, unquestionably the biggest play of the night. 4th and 7. Beckman pump fake, rolls right, and is hammered. The ball is loose. Still a scramble, picked up by LSU, all the way to the 34-yard line. Stripped by Ali Highsmith and picked up by Harry Coleman.
They tried to max protect and run a 2-receiver route. But because the coverage has been so tight, there's nowhere really to go. Turned out it was 3 receivers in the pattern, but he had nowhere to go. And once he had nowhere to go, the rush finally got to him. Highsmith with the strip. See the hustle by Pittman, 49, and Coleman continues to show up. Mr. Johnny on the spot all night long for LSU.
Boy, what a game Coleman has indeed had. Covered up a fumble early in the game. He's made some big hits, big play there. Our Big 12 officiating crew, led by referee John Bible and replay official Terry Turlington, reviewing to see if this was a pass.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It was a fumble. LSU takes possession. However, there was also a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on LSU. That'll be penalized 15 yards from the dead ball spot. LSU first down.
Boy, the second penalty tonight against LSU.
Extremely disciplined. Ali Highsmith gets to him before his arm comes forward. Ball comes free. See Highsmith, Beckman trying to get launched, but the arm is never able to come forward. So the ruling stands. Ball's free, fumble, and then unsportsmanlike conduct. And look at the anguish on the side of Ohio State. Just as hope had started to jump up there again. Now still, 10:37 on the clock. It's not over yet. It's up to Ohio State's defense to jump back in again as LSU goes back to the pistol formation.
And they give it to Hester. And he's inside the 45, down to the 43-yard line.
As we look at the clock now, LSU would love to eat up a lot of clock with a drive here. And you notice that pistol formation, quarterback back at about 4 yards, running back at 6 or 7. I talked with the originator of that formation, Chris Hall, head coach of the University of Nevada, and he told me he went to that because he liked the idea of getting the ball downhill faster to a tailback rather than side-to-side running out of your normal shotgun.
Under center out of the I formation this time, and Hester to the 41-yard line, a 3rd down upcoming. It's not been much offense here in the second half for LSU. We talked about were it not for a roughing the kicker call against Ohio State, it would have been 3 and out on their first drive and a stop their last drive.
Exactly. I mean, one of the 5 don'ts of the kicking game violated. You know, don't be offsides, don't rough the kickers, number 2 on that list. And boy, what a big penalty that one was for Ohio State.
3rd down, and they're sending a house on Flynn. Ball batted down at the line of scrimmage by Cameron Hayward. And one would assume, although with Les Miles, you never assume that you're going to be punting the football on 4th down.
Never assume, but if you're Ohio State, you play alert for the fake and make sure he kicks it away. And don't be surprised here if LSU tries to take a delay penalty, if at all possible. I guess they can't, you know, if the clock runs down, take a delay and try and get 5 yards to help their punter because of the space that he has on the field. Ball's at about the 41-yard line. They might want to take all of it and try and get him a little bit extra yardage to hang it there. They got a little confusion on their punt team, too, getting people out there. I would take the delay if I were them.
Well, you called it, Mr. Davis. They won't get it off. They're going to back it up 5 yards and give it a little more time. They're not running any.
4th down.
Obviously, with the incompleted pass, they're not running any time off the game clock. They're just trying to give their punter a little more room to try and get him deep inside the 10.
And if you're Ohio State, I would have thought about declining it, Tom. I don't want to give him the extra 5-yard cushion for the pooch kick. I want to keep it right there at the 41 and say, okay, if you can handle that one, you're in great shape.
Coming up next on the DirecTV postgame show, it'll be Chris Rose, Jimmy Johnson, Eddie George, Urban Meyer. The All-State BCS National Championship Trophy presentation, and the most outstanding players will be announced. High punt by Fisher, and it bounces. It's into the end zone.
See, in college, as soon as the player breaks the plane and is in the end zone, that's it.
9:02 left. 31-17 LSU. Time for our Dodge game summary. Matt Flynn, 16 of 29, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Confused Ohio State on defense throughout the entire opening half. Chris Wells, 16 carries, 141 yards, including a 65-yard touchdown run the opening possession. But again, Ohio State has fallen behind and not handed the ball off much. Give it to Wells on 1st down, and he'll pick up close to 4. Clock now under 9 minutes. Todd Beckman has hit on 10 of 18, 149 yards. He's thrown an interception, thrown a touchdown. He has fumbled the football.
But he was under heavy duress on the fumble. He was out there trying to make a play. Obviously, you want your quarterback to protect him. He was trying to get a pass off, and Ali Highsmith was just too fast for him and forced the fumble before his arm could come forward.
Wells splits far to the left. Empty backfield. And Beckman fires to Robisky. And he needed to get to the 30 for a 1st down. Looks to be a little bit short, which will keep the clock running.
You have to think about moving with a little bit of haste now if you're Ohio State. It's not a place where you're in a total hurry up, but you're thinking about getting guys in and out of the huddle, off the sideline, getting a play called, and keep it moving. 2 scores still to be made up.
Well, they're wasting a lot of time here after 1st down on a handoff to Wells, 2nd down, huddling up.
And then they come out quickly out of a tight formation, or into a tight formation. They didn't get it.
And Wells denied the 1st down. Ohio State going to have to go with 7.5 minutes left, trailing by 2 touchdowns.
And what's different this year, you remember last year when they went for that 4th down in their own territory and didn't get it, and now it's pretty much the ball game. This one is one where you have to go for it. There it was a decision and a gamble by Jim Tressel. This is one you have to take that gamble and go.
Need a yard, maybe a little less than a yard. 2 tight ends. They give it to Wells. And he appears to have enough for a 1st down. Clock will stop, 7:04 until they reset the chains. Jim Tressel, the 55-year-old mentor at Ohio State, has guided an already storied program to even greater heights. 7 bowl games, 7 years, 5 BCS bowl games, 5 10-win seasons, 4 Big Ten titles, and a national championship. It's their 3rd title appearance in the last 6 years. But last year, it was ugly. Out of the shotgun, Beckman throws, and was the catch made? Yes, out to the 44 by Ray Small. Clock will stop again, 6:49 after the 13-yard completion.
I've got to give credit to these wide receivers for Ohio State as this game has progressed. There's still times where they're not able to shake free of coverage in key situations, but when they have gotten open tonight, they have made the catches. Tough or easy, it doesn't matter. They brought the ball down.
Beckman hit from behind, and he covered the football. Dorsey, we have not called his name much tonight. That doesn't mean he's not creating openings for everybody else around him.
You're exactly right, because you know people got double and triple, and there he is right there, number 72. And he just beats Steve Raring, number 71. Jim Cordell, number 64, tries to come over and help. but it's too late as he knocks the ball free from the back, and Beckman alertly falls on the football.
Tell you, Charles, I am stunned Ohio State is not in a more hurry-up mode offensively. They're huddling up every down.
I'm watching the clock. I would just think that they'd be a little more high tempo. You can still huddle, but you have to increase the pace.
In and out of the hands of Brian Hartline. Excellent coverage by Chad Jones. Jones, an outstanding baseball player, drafted in the 3rd round by the Houston Astros. Many believed he would have been a very high pick were it not for him letting everybody know that he wanted to play football.
And he wanted a great deal amount of money, probably more than that slot. Brandon Sane we haven't seen much of. Remember how the game started with the wheel routes? There he is. He's back in the game now, number 3.
Timeout LSU.
And that may have been why LSU spends a timeout, seeing Sane back on the field. 5:50 to go. This weekend on Fox, the divisional playoffs continue in the NFC. Seattle and Green Bay, Saturday 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. And then on Sunday, the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Sunday 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific in high definition only on Fox.
Bo Pelini tells his team you have to earn the right to rush the passer on 3rd down. Well, 3rd and 15 gives them that right.
Beckman intercepted by Curtis Taylor. And the celebration begins in the Bayou.
You hear that music in the background, LSU saluting their defense. That's the theme music from the old TV show Terry and the Pirates, where Paul Dietzel pulled his defense. The defensive name he had, the Chinese Bandits, were known as the meanest people in all of the land at that time. And that's where the music came from. And they still salute the LSU defense after 3rd down stops or turnovers.
So now Matt Flynn, the senior from Tyler, Texas, will bring his team out onto the field. 5:43 to play and a 2-touchdown lead. And they're going to throw it. Early new set on 1st down, and he is out of bounds. A very surprising, A, they're throwing, and B, that you're running out of bounds.
Yeah, I think B is the more egregious deal there. Early Doucette's a senior. He's got to know better. Clock running is what you want if you're LSU. You've got enough points at 31-17. But what's the other? The clock is now your friend. Stay in bounds. Let it churn. I'm sure his sideline gave him an earful as he danced over after that play. I think we'll see a little more of Hester in this situation.
Well, they fake the handoff to Hester, and Flynn going to keep it himself. Picks up 2. 3rd down and 3 upcoming. Time now for the All-State good hands play of the game. And this was a sack on that 4th down by Highsmith. Recovered.
Allie Highsmith, All-American, the first All-American linebacker at LSU since Brady James in 2002.
Man, that guy was a player, Brady James.
Yes, he was. He was the first AP All-American since Michael Brooks in 1986.
Throw it to Doucette. And did he get enough for a 1st down?
It's going to be a close. Depends on where the foot goes on the spot.
Laurinaitis had him around the leg, and then when he came down, it depends on the spot.
And you know something? I think they're signaling 4th down, but if you're LSU, you go for it here. You know why? Let the clock run. Possession is huge. Punting the ball away, field position, not as huge with a 2-touchdown cushion. You find Jacob Hester 18, or you run Matt Flynn on the sneak, and you keep the football and get another set of downs.
Of course, 4th down becomes part of the MO for Les Miles.
Yeah. Joseph Barksdale back in the ballgame, number 78. They've run sneak here before.
And they do again, and they do to convert. Of course, it was that Florida game when on 4th down, Les Miles 5 times went on a 4th down call and was 5 for 5 in that huge win over the 9th ranked at the time Florida Gators. Take a look from the Fox jumper scope. The momentum change. 10-10 game. The blocked field goal by rookie Jean Francois. And the momentum turned around just like that.
He just ran over Ben Person, the guy assigned to block him. He got his right hand in the air and knocked the ball away. And instead of a 13-10 game, Ohio State, LSU went ahead and continued their march.
Lynn lets that play clock roll all the way down to 2 before the snap. They hand it off to Hester. You know, people that have been around a long time watched LSU football, and it's hard to argue that this is truly the golden age in the very rich history of the Tigers. A school record, 3 straight 11-win seasons. We'll talk more about that in a moment. You know, continuing that theme, Charles, about is this the golden age, of LSU football. 3 straight 11-win seasons, an SEC title, 2 bowl victories. This would be a 3rd, back-to-back top 5 final rankings, 7 first-team All-Americans, and now a shot at a national championship.
Hard to argue that it's not the most impressive era of football for LSU. And frankly, hard to say that there's an end in sight.
Flynn picks up another first down to the 30-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Chris Myers.
Well, you mentioned Bo Pelini, who went to Ohio State, and he's taking the Nebraska head coaching job. And Tom, he told us that he is loyal to his players here and that he would not have taken the head coaching job in a day and age when some guys take jobs and bolt from their school. He said he would not have taken it if that was the case. It was understood between Les Miles and the folks at Nebraska that he would stay here to coach LSU in this championship game. He also wanted us to say hello to his father, Anthony, watching back home in Ohio. Proud of his son who wanted to be here fighting an illness. Is doing a lot better now.
It's amazing the Ohio connections, Charles, we have seen in back-to-back seasons here in the national championship game. There's a pitch to Murphy to the inside and still on his feet down to the 7-yard line. Let's not forget Les Miles through all that Michigan talk and about whether he would return to his alma mater. He grew up in Elyria, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland. Played at Michigan for Bo Schembechler, and everybody and his brother except for him thought he was going back to Michigan upon the retirement of Lloyd Carr.
He's got to paraphrase his beloved head coach who just passed away last year, Bo Schembechler, because he's now an LSU man, and an LSU man is going to coach an LSU team, and it appears for a long, long time.
Flynn to hand it off, and that is Scott met at the 5-yard line, under 2.5 minutes to go. Laurinaitis on yet another stop. 18 tackles, which is a BCS bowl game record.
The 2 leading tacklers, both linebackers, Laurinaitis and Freeman, not all that unusual. But Coach Urban Meyer said in the pregame show the strength of the Ohio State defense is their front 7. But a lot of the defensive line neutralized for much of the ball game, thus the high tackle numbers for the linebackers.
Flynn rolls wide open as Dixon. Point after by David is good. And you think the streets, Bourbon Street in New Orleans, will be rocking and rolling tonight. Richard Dixon, a pair of touchdown receptions tonight for Matt Flynn. The first time he has thrown 4 touchdowns in a game. What a time to do it. When the BCS started, the first champion in '99, your alma mater, Tennessee. A year later, Florida State, then Bob Stoops. The Youngstown natives celebrated a championship. Miami in '02 lost to Jim Tressel and Ohio State in '03. Under Nick Saban, LSU a championship in '04. Pete Carroll in '05. Then Vince Young in an electrifying game, won it out west in '06. Last year, the Gators over Ohio State. And a minute 50 away with a 21-point lead. It appears to be LSU for the second time in the last 5 years.
So they would become the first repeat champion in the BCS era and the first two-loss champion in the regular season in the BCS era.
Well, we have met some fine young men in this college football season, and I'm not sure you could meet a sweeter kid than Glenn Dorsey. I mean, you know, so highly decorated and everything he's done on the field. But what a kid he is. Raised in Gonzales, Louisiana.
They did a great feature on him in our pregame show. He's a guy who overcame having to wear braces on his legs as a child, unable to play while the other children were playing. So his legs got stronger.
Small out to the 40, still on his feet to the 46-yard line. Coming up next, Chris, Jimmy, Eddie, and Urban on the DirecTV postgame show of the All-State BCS National Championship Trophy presentation of the most outstanding players. And Les Miles about to get real cold and real wet.
And the happiest man in the world to get just like that.
Sean Godet, the kicker, was injured trying to make the tackle. That is Godet.
As the kicker, trying to make a play. I certainly hope he's going to be all right.
And that is not Les Miles.
Looks like Coach Henson. Yeah, that to me that looked like Josh Henson, the tight end and tight ends coach and recruiting coordinator, who got the first bath. Tough evening, obviously, for Jim Tressel and the Buckeyes, but in a lot of ways, they got here to this BCS National, the All-State BCS National Championship game a year ahead of schedule. Picked third in the preseason in the Big Ten. Many people had said even before this season, 2008 is when you really need to look out for the Buckeyes, and depending on whether a number of guys will take early entry, they could very well be right back in this game next year.
Hartline chopped down. We talked about the youth of this Ohio State team. It is remarkable the job that Jim Tressel has done this year. I mean, championship game notwithstanding, when you think they only start 3 seniors and really only 2 of them play regularly.
Exactly.
A junior class, which if they do lose players, maybe 1 or 2, and then everybody else, a sophomore, a freshman, or a redshirt freshman.
Exactly. They could come back with the same cast of characters with a years extra experience. They'll have interference on the play. The covers look like Jai Eugene, number 4, trying to make the play. The receiver trying to jump back inside and get to the football, had no opportunity to do so. Flag comes out.
You know, Charles, I think you and I were both just stunned.
Pass interference, defense number 4. That's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
I'm not sure if you'd call it venom. I'm not sure if you'd call it bile. I'm not sure what you'd call it. But it was amazing all the heat Ohio State took after that national championship game. They laid an egg. I mean, there's no debate about that. They just got walloped by Florida. But it's not as though they were some Johnny-come-lately program. I mean, this is their 3rd trip to the championship game in the last 6 years. And only USC has a better record over the last 7 seasons overall.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was the national stage, and everyone took that as that was the whole thing of the program. Not really true. If you look at LSU now, trying to become one of those elite programs that you talk about year in and year out. They've had a storied history, but even within the SEC, they haven't been the elite program. You know, you were talking about the Alabamas, Florida in the last 25 years, Tennessee. You know, those types of programs, Georgia, now LSU, firmly in that pantheon.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about it. They'll be the ones to beat, it appears, for a while in the SEC. I know Coach Myers sitting on the set thinking, I've got to take them on again next year, and he hopes to have his shot, as do a number of teams, but they'll be right there doing battle.
Lofted into the end zone. Robisky up into the air, caught it, but out of bounds.
I love the effort as this game winds down. You notice these young guys playing as if there's no clock to worry about. You know, they could have very easily, hey, we take a knee, we run the thing out, we get out of here. They're playing this thing out with full effort. It's fun to see. It's nice to see. And you talk about the great young men we've met during this bowl season. They've all been tremendous. It's been a lot of fun meeting all of them. And I want to go to Glenn Dorsey's hometown of Gonzales Jambalaya Festival every year.
Sounds good. Slant by Hartline, and he will race into the end zone for a touchdown. With 1:13 left, it makes it a 38-24 game with a point after.
Yeah, go kick the extra point, and then you know we're going to line up for an onside kick. There's no way Jim Tressel's playing this thing out, but not going to play this thing out. There's just no way. That's not part of who he is, nor would Les Miles do it the same way on the other side. Nice throw by Beckman. Well-thrown ball. Hartline with the catch. Breaks a tackle and gets into the end zone.
Pretorius with a point after to make it a 14-point spread with 1:13 to go. $79,651 Superdome record tonight. And again, a reminder, our DirecTV post-game coverage coming your way. The trophy presentation, the most outstanding players, and final thoughts. Our All-State BCS National Championship game produced by Mike Burks, directed by Rich Russo. Our associate directors Tom Yohe, Rich Dewey, Darren Foster. Our broadcast associates Justin Deutsch and Andy Kavanaugh. Technical producer is Frank Phillips. Pre-game show produced by John Entz, directed by Jonathan X. The senior producer at Fox Sports, Bill Brown. Our executive producers at Fox Sports, Ed Gorn and David Hill. Our thanks to our entire crew on this onside kick. A heavy lift delivered by Malcolm Jenkins. But Charles Scott hangs onto the football. I want to thank our entire crew. They have been here for 2 straight weeks away from their families, leaving just right after Christmas and leading up to New Year's. And they've been here, and we cannot thank them for all of their hard work.
Being number 1, that 5-yard penalty be added on to the end of the possession. First down.
A little offside on the onside kick, but Charles Scott, fitting that he came down with the ball, Tom. Because when you talk with the LSU coaching staff, one thing they'll tell you is he's a tremendous offensive football player. We love what he does for us carrying the ball. But he's a terrific special teams guy. You know, think about it. We've seen 5 different backs carry the ball for LSU from the running back position tonight. All of them obviously wanting to compete for carries. But when you don't get that number of carries, you have to contribute in other ways. And that's exactly what Charles Scott has done all year long.
Starting to see the emotion now from Les Miles, 54-year-old Elyria, Ohio husband and father of 4. In his 3rd season at LSU, will bring them a national championship. Of course, you think back to his inaugural year in 2005. In August, Hurricane Katrina hits this region of the country. They cancel their first game of the year. They go and play on the road at Arizona State. They have a
scheduled home game.
Yep, thrilling come from behind 35-31 win. No sooner do they celebrate that, Hurricane Rita hits this area.
Yes.
They lose to Tennessee
on a Monday nighter at home.
And Bo Pelini.
Take that to Nebraska with you, Bo.
That's what I'm talking about.
And if you're a young man who's playing at Nebraska and you play defense, under that guy, you'll have a chance to become the black shirts defense again. Remember, they decided they pulled the black shirts tradition last year, so they could get it back.
1 minute left to go. Charles, everybody we talked to this senior class, they talked about Katrina.
Yes.
And the lives it affected so many of the players in this senior class who grew up in this city, who grew up in this state. And what LSU football meant to so many then, the campus and all it did to embrace those in a time of need. And now collectively, 2 years later, they'll celebrate a national championship.
You're exactly right. And for a lot of people from the outside looking in, they're saying, how does football help people in that type of a situation? Well, everyone was in such dire straits. They needed one thing to feel good about. And LSU football has been something they felt good about for a long time, and that helped a number of people through a very, very difficult situation.
Well, congratulations to the LSU Tigers, the 2008 All-State BCS National Champions. Let's send it downstairs to Chris Myers.
With senior Glenn Dorsey, and have you seen the papers? LSU #1. Congratulations. What was the difference in the game?
I think we had to get over that first. They came out ready to play, and we just want to sustain that and overcome it and stay within ourselves and play hard.
Were you a little bit nervous to start the game, this team?
I'm always nervous before a game. That's how I know I'm ready. My team came out and played hard.
There was a chance you might not come back for your senior season. You went through some injuries. You fought hard. Are you glad you did?
Without a doubt, my team is the #1 team in the land, man. Right now, it's great to be an LSU Tiger. I love it. I love my hometown because I love Baton Rouge. I'm great to be a Tiger.
All right, well, there'll be some celebrating tonight. Congratulations. We'll see you in the NFL.
Thanks, man. Y'all take it easy. Thank y'all.
All right. Glenn Dorsey. Tom?
Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Dorsey. It doesn't matter if he's going to be playing pro football or not. That young man would be successful whatever avenue he were to take in life ahead. 38-24. LSU defeats Ohio State to win the national championship of college football.
To the DirecTV postgame show on Fox.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the field, Fox Sports, Chris Rose.
Thank you very much. Time right now for the trophy presentation. I want to welcome to the stage from Allstate, Tom Wilson. From the Sugar Bowl, Ray Gendron, Paul Holohan, and from DirecTV, John Gieselman. Gentlemen, welcome. And it is time right now to present the BCS Coaches Trophy presented by DirecTV. For that, I welcome in from the BCS, the Commissioner of the ACC, John Swafford. John.
Thank you, Chris. First of all, on behalf of the institutions and the 11 conferences that make up the BCS, let me congratulate both teams on tremendous seasons and their effort tonight. And now, on behalf of the American Football Coaches Association, it's my pleasure to present the Coaches Trophy, symbolic of the national championship, to Coach Les Miles and the LSU Tigers.
Go for it. Coach, I know it's a big party up here. I know you want to go celebrate with your kids. It has been an amazing year for you guys. So many close games, triple overtime losses. You've had to dispel rumor, call impromptu news conferences. What did you learn about your kids that you didn't know about them back in August?
Nothing. I knew they were competitive. I knew they'd fight like hell. I knew they would win. We had great confidence. I can only tell you, by the grace of God, we're here. But once we got here, we were going to do our best.
3 straight 11-win seasons for LSU. 2 national championships in the last 5 seasons. Have the Tigers become the dominant team in college football?
Well, very humbly, It's one of the great programs in college football. It's a great place to get an education, great place to win championships.
We talked about it last year when you stood on stage after your victory in the All-State Sugar Bowl, what it meant to the people of New Orleans and Louisiana, the entire South, and dealing with Hurricane Katrina. I imagine having about 50,000 of your closest friends here tonight didn't hurt, right?
We enjoy playing in this arena. We enjoy playing in front of the state of Louisiana and the great people of LSU, I promise you.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Time right now to give out the individual honors. The offensive MVP of the game, Matt Flynn. Not a bad way to end your college career.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's pretty sweet. A dream come true, it really is.
Listen, you had to bide your time behind Matt Mock and then Jamarcus Russell as well. Did you ever think that, you know, starting at LSU, let alone winning a national championship, was a possibility for this kid from Tyler, Texas?
You know, I never knew, but I dreamt, you know. And, you know, I feel extremely blessed to have this last year and to be a part of such a great team and great guys and have such great fans support us. And, you know, we just feel honored to be here and get this opportunity.
You know, you guys went against the #1 defense in the entire country. How were you able to almost drop 40 on them?
Well, just execution. We came out here with the right frame of mind, and, you know, we prepared well. You know, we had a bunch of weeks to prepare for this game, and, you know, we just came out here and executed and just kept hanging in there. And, you know, I give it to our offensive line and the receivers blocking out in the perimeter. They did a great job, and, you know, they're the reason we're standing here.
Career high 4 TD tosses. Matt Flynn, congratulations on that. Time right now for defensive MVP honors, and that goes to a sophomore, Ricky Jean Francois. Come on up here, big boy. I don't think there's a question that your field goal block when it was 10-10 swung the momentum of this game. After that, you guys scored 21 straight points. Was that the big changing point?
I believe so. I believe that was the changing point. Before that, my coach told me, Ricky, just get down low as you can and just come full speed and try to block it. You might don't, but at least you tried. When I did my best, I blocked it, and I was just hoping somebody just picked it up from our team.
Yeah, show me those big hands. Those are big. Yeah, that's not fair. All right, listen, for you personally, it's been a trying season. You were suspended the first 12 games because of some off-field issues. What'd you learn about yourself?
It made me start appreciating everything, my school, my football, my family, everybody around me, my coaches, my friends. It just made me appreciate everything. So when I look at everything now, I'm going to appreciate it. I ain't going to take it for granted no more.
Well, obviously good thoughts on that one. Take those big hands and put it on that championship trophy, my friend. Congratulations. LSU, the first school to win 2 BCS national championships. Tom Brenneman, take it away.
Chris, thank you very much. They will be celebrating deep into the night in New Orleans. Les Miles, many thought he was going to Michigan to try and win a championship. Not so. He's an LSU man.
Welcome back to the DirecTV postgame show on Fox.
Let's send it back downstairs to Chris Rose, and all of a sudden a standing room only crowd.
All right, Tommy, thank you. Pretty much says it all. Jimmy Johnson, real quickly, your thoughts.
Well, I think the main thing about this LSU team, they're battle tested. I think the level of competition every week made them ready for this ball game. Urban, what about you? What do you think about them?
I know one thing, the SEC just got a little tougher.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm hearing all the SEC talk right now, and I just felt like Ohio State might have got out-coached a little bit on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, guys, congratulations. You're the first team to win 2 BCS national championships. Tell America how good it is. Guys, when we come back, Tom Brenneman and Charles Davis with final thoughts.
Welcome back to the DirecTV postgame show on Fox.
Final score from the All-State BCS National Championship game. The LSU Tigers 38, the Ohio State Buckeyes 24. We'd certainly like to thank everyone, the bowl committees, the BCS officials, especially the players and the coaches, the sports information directors, and all the great fans that have been with us for the BCS Bowl Bash here on Fox. And we do have a minute to take a peek ahead. Next year will be coming your way from Miami, the 2009 FedEx BCS National Championship game here on Fox. Cannot thank all of our crew enough for their hard work. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. For Charles Davis, Chris Myers, and our entire crew, Tom Brenneman saying thanks so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next January.